Hey, yo, what's up? Good morning and happy Tuesday to you all. A DK show coming to you from the TDS Sports Talk Studios this morning. Whether you're listening online at sportstalk1051.com, your app, download the app, take it on the go. You got the radio dials, 105.1 FM, 790 AM. Video stream also up and rolling, or just streaming us up at the website. We appreciate you tuning in and hanging out with us on this chilly start to your December 2nd. What do we have on the breakfast menu? What do we have on the game plan for us this morning? Well, if you remember homework assignments from yesterday, we're going to hand out some grades as we look back at the third quarter of this Packers season. What would you grade the Packers from the last 4 games? We're going to take a look at the last 4 games. So that is a record of 3-1 by the Pack. Their one loss, the Eagles, a 10-7 loss. Then wins against the Giants, Vikings, and Lions. Kind of using this, the Thanksgiving Day game with the Lions as kind of that cutoff for the third quarter. I think it's a nice break there. And then, obviously, the fourth quarter will include the final 5 games. So, but get your grades out. As usual, when we do this, I'll leave it open-ended to you all. It could be just if you want to give a grade to the team overall, you can do that. You want to do coach, you want to do some players. Hey, I'll open it up to you. All right, whatever you want to do. I'll do a mixture as normal. So team-wise grade, I'm going to take a look at some of the players and coach and such. So, but you can start to hit me up with some text on that Shoe Doctors bullpen line, 715-830-1912. So we got that coming at you this morning. Matt LaFleur chatted a little bit with the local media yesterday. Did confirm that Devontae Wyatt will be done for the rest of the season with that ankle injury, but maybe getting some reinforcements back. Probably not for this weekend, but yesterday the Packers opening up the practice window for 3 more players. Marshawn Lloyd, Brenton Cox Jr., and rookie Colin Oliver. You're like, who? Colin Oliver? Yeah, we haven't seen him at all. I mean, not even like training camp, preseason. So that's where for me, I feel like that's going to be a guy who's going to practice 3 weeks and then they're going to revert him back just to get him some work in. I could be wrong. Maybe just kind of seeing how it goes here. But, I mean, this is a guy who has missed a ton of time. Remember, he was a rookie. Off the top of my head, was he the 5th round pick, I think? But he was that guy, that great pass rusher, but he's got like a linebacker size. He's kind of a little bit smaller than a typical 4-3 defensive end, but numbers-wise, fantastic pass rusher. So I'm really curious to see, going back to our conversation with him back in the spring, how Jeff Hafley, how this team utilizes him. I don't know if we're going to see that at all this year, but even Brenton Cox Jr., it's been a hot minute for him since week 1 with that groin injury, and obviously Marshawn Lloyd too. I mean, we've barely seen that guy. So, but nonetheless, they opened up the practice window for those 3 players. So we'll see how soon they can potentially return to the field. In terms of Lucas Van Ness, according to our friend Rob Domofsky, he was in a walking boot. Also, he had this to say, quote, "It just wasn't exactly where I wanted it to be. Was hoping to get back on the field and return to play a limited amount of snaps, and it didn't feel quite right yet. So just back on the rehab plan and hoping I could turn the corner shortly. But until then, just rehab, work with the training staff and coaches, and hope to get healthy soon." So Matt LaFleur also saying about Jaden Reed, quote, "The plan is to see where he's at by the end of the week." Added that even though Reed is back at practice, he still has to be given final medical clearance to play. So I feel like we're going to see Jaden Reed this weekend, though. That's just my opinion. But I want to talk a little. Obviously, we're going to talk some Packers here this morning, but also want to talk a little Micah Parsons. And just, I mean, we know he is off to an amazing start to his Packers career. He's a top 10 if you care about these sort of things. Top 10 vote getter for the Pro Bowl games and such. But just kind of put this in a historical perspective of where Micah Parsons is at. And let me throw this out to you, Packers fans. Okay. Has he met or exceeded your expectations so far? And it kind of relates to the grades, right? It kind of relates to the grades here. So has he met your expectations? He came in with a ton, right? With some high expectations. But given what we've seen right now, and I think you do have to factor in that, okay, maybe he's not getting a ton of help from the other side here. He's constantly getting double teamed, and he's still beating those double teams. He's still getting after the quarterback. When you factor all that in, has he exceeded your expectations so far? Odds for Defensive Player of the Year, he's got the second best odds behind Myles Garrett, who is just racking up the sacks at this point in time. But, I mean, Micah Parsons has gotten a sack in every single game for the Packers so far this year, except for the Cleveland game, the Cincinnati game, Carolina, and it looks like Philadelphia. So 4 games he hasn't gotten a sack. And otherwise, he's got 12.5 so far this year. He's gotten quarterback hits in every game except for 3. Yeah, Philly, Carolina, and Cincy. So, but, yeah. So, kind of curious, give me your thoughts on that. I want to maybe throw a little Isaiah McDuffie chat into this too, and how it relates maybe to the future of one Quay Walker. So, we'll hit that up, talk about that throughout the morning here. Bucks, what the heck? I know we're not to Christmas yet, and that's kind of the benchmark for me, but I mean, for crying out loud, Milwaukee, what are we doing? Falling to the Washington Wizards last night. Wizards came in with just 2 wins of the season. And the Bucks continue their poor play. Just abysmal. You lose to the Wizards, 129 to 126. Seriously, what are we doing here? Pathetic. Kevin Porter Jr. puts up 30. Giannis has 26. But, I mean, A.J. Green's got 13. Ryan Rollins puts up 14. Turner's just got 9. Gary Trent Jr., 14. Bobby Portis puts up 12. Where's the defense? What are we doing here right now? What's going? This is not for a year that, okay, the whole Giannis talk about whether he's going to stay, whether he's going to go, is it going to be dependent on how the team is looking like this year and that? For crying out loud, I know he missed a couple weeks here too, but 9-13, and then, Giannis still plays, and you get Kevin Porter Jr. back, and you're, for crying out loud, you lose to the Wizards. What is going on? It's frustrating, and I know they're kind of maybe on the back burner right now for Wisconsin sports fans, but they ain't doing anything to get us to pay attention to them, to watch them, to jump on board right now. As a basketball fan, it's frustrating to watch this team. It's really frustrating to watch this team. So, but they got the off day. Then they got the Pistons coming up tomorrow. I mean, irritating. Well, how would you is there another word that you would use to describe the Bucks right now? I mean, looking at their defensive ratings, 22nd in the association. The only teams worse than them, the Bulls, the Hornets, the Kings, the Jazz, the Clippers, the Pelicans, the Nets, and the last team, the Wizards. I mean, the Bucks put up 126. They just couldn't stop anybody. You want to know the teams with the best defensive ratings? Oh, OKC. Oh, Detroit. The two best teams in terms of their conferences right now. So, well, throw a little hoops in there. Blue Gold women's basketball team picking up a dominating win. You don't see this too often. So they beat Martin Luther last night. 18 players putting up buckets, putting up points last night. So they, talk about the men's team starting off to an undefeated start. Blue Gold women's team off to a 7-1 start to begin the year. So lots of good basketball to begin the season for the Blue Golds. But speaking of college basketball, too, Marquette's going to be in action tonight, taking on Valparaiso before Marquette's matchup with Wisconsin coming up this weekend. So we'll talk some hoops, talk a little college hoops. Speaking of the Badgers, we'll catch up with Mr. RJ Cardinal. He'll be joining us about 8:20 this morning. Recap the Badger football season. Look ahead. Badgers, if you're kind of paying attention to maybe some recruiting stuff this entire offseason, they did pick up a wide receiver decommitted from Vanderbilt, 4-star receiver. So, yes, flips a speedy wide receiver for the class of 2026 who committed to Vanderbilt. Keyshawn Tabutu. But we'll ask RJ a little bit more about him and such. But, I always get nervous, though, on these commitments and these signings because, okay, 3-star. I think I said 4-star, but 3-star. But, because now it's like, okay, are they going to stay? Are they going to play right away? I mean, what's the deal here with college sports? So I don't know how much I can get excited about it because I just don't know if the guy's going to stay or if we're gonna see him at all. So, but we'll talk to RJ about all that. It is a Toyson Ford Grind My Gears Tuesday. So, what's grinding your gears? All right, time to get it off your chest. Let me know. Hit me up. Text it. 715-830-1912. Or you can hit us up on the YouTube video stream. It is also the Hy-Vee Gamechanger of the week. So go back to last Tuesday up until this point. Give me a player or give me a play or a person that was the game changer of the week. Okay, again, it doesn't have to be the best play. It doesn't have to be something that shows up in the stat sheet. But you're like, you know what? That person made an impact in this game. That play had an impact in that game that maybe doesn't get recognized. So make your selections again by hit me up with a text or, again, commenting on the YouTube video stream. So, all right. We got what up to everybody on the YouTube chat as well. I love it when people text in good morning right away on the YouTube chat. So appreciate that. So, but let's get things rocking and rolling, shall we? Let's get into it. Third quarter grades. That means I was thinking about this last night too when I was thinking about my grades. I'm like, man, we're already in the fourth quarter of the NFL season. Man, I hope Green Bay, we're still talking about them into February, dudes and dudettes. It's going by too fast. It's like your kids growing up. It goes by too fast. But let's take a look at these third quarter grades. All right, let's break it all down. Get your pencils out. Get your grade books out. Let's do this. Let's take our first break, and then we'll get things going here this morning. Grading that third quarter. Talking a little Micah. Has he exceeded your expectations? Dare I say, has he not hit your expectations for some people? And let's talk a little Isaiah McDuffie. Winter roads, they can be tough on your vehicle, especially the windows. Cracks, chips, broken glass, they can turn into bigger problems fast. Post Glass and Mirror in Chippewa Falls is ready to keep you safe this season. From auto glass repair and replacement to custom mirrors and glass installation, their experienced team gets the job done quickly and reliably. Don't let this winter weather slow you down. Visit postglassandmirror.com or give them a call today at 715-723-8676. Post Glass and Mirror, keeping Chippewa Falls safe. Keeping Chippewa Valley safe, clear, and ready for the road this winter. Speaking of Post Glass and Mirror, that was our poll question from last night up on the Sports Talk Facebook page. What would you grade the Packers for the third quarter of the season? Last I checked, 77% of you going B. 22% of you went A. 1% went with C. Nothing lower than that. And that's where we're going to begin here this morning. Third quarter grades for the Pack. We're using this as the line, as the cutoff line for that third quarter for the Packers season, just because coming off the Thanksgiving Day game, a little bit of like a mini bye-ish week, and looking at these final 5 games. It kind of works out that way. So that's why I know mathematically it's not even, but we're using this as that line. So when we look at the last 3 weeks of this, last 4 games for this Packers team, 3-1 record, lost to the Phillies. Guys, I still got baseball in my mind. I was doing it yesterday with hockey, for crying out loud. I think I just want the hot stove season to really kick up. But the Eagles lost to the Eagles 10-7, win against the Giants 27-20, win against the Vikings, win against the Lions on Thanksgiving Day. How would you grade this team? I'm going to do team. I'll do some players, and I'll do some. I'll do coaches over here too. Let's start with the quarterback, Jordan Love. Toyota-thon, Jordan Love. And again, it's not from this entire season. We are just looking at the last 4 games. So if we start with that Philly game, if you're just looking at it from a numbers, stats perspective, 20-36, Bucks 76. Giants, he was 13-24 for 174, 2 tuds, no interceptions. We've got the Vikings 14-21, 139 for no touchdown. Did he have? Yeah. And then Detroit, obviously 18-3. He's probably got a really good chance, actually, to win the NFC Offensive Player of the Week this week. 234 and 4 touchdowns. If you're looking at quarterback ratings, 68.8 against Philadelphia, 105.2 against the Giants, 85.2 against Minnesota, 124.2 against the Lions. I would say my grade for Jordan Love during that stretch, I'm going to go B. Maybe like a B+. Because I don't think we can just sit there and even though I just went through those stats and numbers, I don't think we could just use those as a straight-up measuring stick as a box score scouting. I don't think that's fair, because what Jordan Love, I think, has and this has obviously been a hot topic for all season long amongst Packers fans, and I don't really want to rehash what the topic from last week and such on a Grind My Gears Tuesday and just kind of going back and forth in that. But I mean, even if you look at like Pro Football Focus grades, I saw this the other day. Was it yesterday? I think quarterback Pro Football Focus grading and efficiency. Pro Football Focus offensive grades and expected points added EPA per play. Jordan Love, tops. So, I mean, you look at some of the advanced numbers, the advanced statistics, Jordan Love, first in EPA. I mean, so he's really putting together a very solid, very good, I don't want to say solid, but a very good season that I think even some fans are just like, not ready to give him flowers. And okay, that's fine. That's fine. But I know we're kind of looking at the overall season and such, but the last 4 games, I probably got to give him a B+. He's been playing some really good football, some solid football. Some other players off. I think, we look at, let's do Christian Watson. I want to do Christian Watson because I think he has had a very solid impact on this ball club since he's returned to the lineup. And his first game was against Pittsburgh. But if we look at Philadelphia, the Giants, Minnesota, and Detroit. And again, if you look at it like, 45 yards, 46 yards, 49 yards, 80 yards. He's got 3 touchdowns so far this season. But he has been the closest thing to a number 1 wide receiver for this team so far this year. He, to me, is the go-to guy. He, to me, is the big play guy in the passing game for Green Bay. His return has been a big boost for this group. It may not show up, stat-wise and such. But again, if you're watching these games and you're watching every single snap of these games, you know the impact that Christian Watson has had on this ball club. So I'm going to go B+ for Christian Watson. He has affected this team. He has been a solid contributor to this team. Is he blowing out, stat sheets, numbers, and, 100-yard games and that? No, he's not. But again, I don't think you could just sit there and box score scout it. He has been a big boost since returning to the lineup for this ball club. And a much-needed boost, too, especially with Tucker Kraft being done for the rest of the season. Some other players that I'm not going to go through every single player, but, some other players. Micah Parsons, we're going to talk some more Micah Parsons here in just a little bit. But, Micah Parsons, if you want to look at what he's kind of done for these last 4 weeks. Again, I'll just kind of give you some numbers here. If we go back to Philly, he didn't have a sack, but since Giants, 1.5, Minnesota, 2, Detroit, 2.5. I give the guy an A. You talk about the impact that he's had. Again, numbers are great, but you watch the snaps, you watch the plays, constantly getting double-teamed. Nobody else gets double-teamed more than Micah Parsons. The guy still gets after the quarterback. He beats these double teams. Hell, he's sometimes getting triple-teamed. He has an insane effect on game plans, on offensive game plans. This is what we were hoping for. This is what the expectation was, bringing in a guy like Micah Parsons to be the closer, too, in a lot of these situations. The Mariano Rivera. You get to the fourth quarter, you have a lead, you unleash Micah Parsons even more. And that's where Micah Parsons has really shined, is late in these ball games. Shutting it down, closing it. You got to give the guy an A. He has been remarkable. Absolutely remarkable. You're talking, 6 sacks in these last 4 weeks? 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. Absolute A. Absolute A. I'm going to go, I'll throw a little Carrington Valentine into this too, because I think we look at these last 4 weeks and such and kind of look at him. I'm probably going, that lazy tackle against Jamison Williams in that Thanksgiving Day game, probably that was I'll just say what it is. It was pathetic. I mean, you have a chance to blow up that play, and it results into a touchdown, for crying out loud. So that was a pathetic attempt. But overall, I'm probably a B- for like Carrington Valentine. I think he's probably the number one corner on this team. I trust him more than any other corner at this point in time. Is he a number one corner across the league? No, he's not to that level. But on this ball club, on this particular ball club, I think he is a number one corner. And I think he's had solid play too. Yeah, that was a weak attempt at a tackle. Wrap the guy up, man. If you wrap that guy up, especially the speedy guy, that's a loss. But he's had more good plays than poor plays. So I gotta give the guy about a B- so far. If we look at units defensively, I'm probably at, again, these are just the 4 games. Defense kept them in the game in that Philly game. They did what they were supposed to do. So I got to give them high marks on that. Giants, I mean, they had the opening drive and such. You're talking about open middle of the field, too many third down conversions in that Giants game. Minnesota, I mean, they just, again, they did what they were supposed to do, absolutely dominate against a struggling young quarterback in J.J. McCarthy. They went after him. Even Detroit, I mean, yeah, Jared Goff was, 20 to 25, 20 to 26, but they were able to get after him in sack situations, kind of going back and forth a little bit there. Tit for tat offense. Packers would score, they'd jump out to a lead, then the Lions would inch closer, but then the Packers offense would jump out and such. So defensively, I'm probably at but they really limited Jahmyr Gibbs in that Detroit game, which I think was a big boost. They did struggle against Jameson Williams. B+, A- defensively. Offensively, as a unit grade, I'm probably gonna go C+, C+, because Philly, that was bad. That was bad. Minnesota, offensively they did what and I get it. They changed their offensive approach as the game went on and the defense was just dominating. Giants, I felt like they still left a lot out on the field. I mean, you still had some drop issues. Detroit, though, that game offensively was better. So maybe C+, B-. Again, just from these four weeks, I would say it's trending upward, ticking up a little bit. And I think with the return of Jaden Reed, it's going to continue to get better. Jeff Hafley, his grade, I mean, I got to go B+, A-. His game plans, he's calling some great games. I think they got to figure out consistently the communication, middle of the field, passing, whether that's, safety, linebackers, the handoffs and these zone coverages. They got to clean that crap up. I mean, that sometimes that rears its ugly head, and oh boy, do teams take advantage of it. Detroit's a really good team that took advantage of it. Obviously, the Giants took advantage of it too. That's stuff that they got to clean up, especially when they get to the postseason. But overall, I like the aggressiveness that we have seen from some of his play calling. So yeah, B+, A-. Matt LaFleur, I'm combining him as a head coach and then the offensive play calling here. I'm probably at C+ for LaFleur. The Detroit game moved it up. Because that was, I don't know. I know a lot of people are saying that was the best game by Matt LaFleur in terms of a play caller and approach and as a head coach and that. I want to give it a little bit yet. let the recency bias kind of settle down. But I understand why people thought that because of his aggressiveness and his decision making and such that he threw out there. So I get that. I understand that. And that was definitely a big boost. I would say C+, but arrow is going in the right direction for the upcoming fourth quarter. Because I think there's still some apprehension from some people like, okay, that's what we wanted to see against Detroit. But is that going to continue? Is that style going to continue for the next 5 weeks? So, like, if I was a teacher and I'm handing out my final grade, I'm be like, okay, it's C+. But hey, keep it up. Keep going this way. If you continue this path, it's going to go higher. Overall team, I'm probably at a B. I'm probably there. I mean, you're 3-1. You probably should have beat Philadelphia. The way that game went at home, yeah, you probably should have came away with a victory with that. But overall, 3-4. You're undefeated in the division so far. You picked up 2 more wins in the division. You swept the Lions. I've got to go. I got to go a solid B right now for Green Bay. But they really, I mean, looking at the final quarter here, and you look at that schedule, boy, they could really pipe it up to an A if they wanted to. So, I mean, they've got that chance. 2 games against Chicago to knock them out. You got Denver, you got Baltimore, and then you kind of wrap it up with Minnesota there. But I'm probably at a solid B team-wise. All right, got to take a quick break. We'll get to your grades. Hit me up with a text on that Shoe Doctor's bullpen line, 715-830-1912. I do want to talk a little bit more Micah Parsons. I do want to talk a little Isaiah McDuffie coming up a little bit later on as well. So, but with Micah Parsons, I want to ask, has he hit expectations? Has he maybe just met them, exceeded? Is there anybody out there saying that he's not meeting their expectations? I'd be curious to know why. But I want to talk a little bit about Parsons and his early start to his Packers tenure. First, we got to take a quick break. But we'll be back in just a couple minutes. Make holiday shopping simple this year with a stop at our good friends Mike's Star Market in Eau Claire. From premium hand-cut roasts and holiday hams to perfectly seasoned brats, fresh ground beef, and all your favorite meats, Mike's has everything you need to make your holiday meals unforgettable. Stock up for family gatherings, gift great local flavor, and enjoy the quality and service that only a hometown market delivers. Mike's Star Market, bringing fresh, local goodness to your holiday this season. C-Bomb's got some grades here. Offense C+. Offense is doing good enough to win, but far too inconsistent to win the playoffs. We're going to need a much better showing than what we saw against the Eagles. We'll need more of what we saw against the Lions. Defense B+, sixth in scoring defense and fourth in yards allowed. This defense will win a Super Bowl if the offense can get consistency. They did enough in the loss this quarter to win that game against the Eagles. Gotcha. Coaching B, Matt LaFleur seems to be righting the ship. The team has played with more discipline the last 4 games, and 3-1 record as a result. Halfley has been excellent. Special teams B, kicking game has been getting better. Now that 17 is getting healthy, the release of Haversick tells me that they saw in practice who really needs to be the kicker. Overall, B. Ultimately, it comes down to wins and losses. 3 out of 4 is 75%. This should be a C for a grade if we are taking a test, but we'll give a B based on improvement seen in the third quarter of the season. You know, special teams I think is a good. I want to give another A out. Daniel Whelan. Okay, I know you don't really talk a whole lot about punters, but that guy. The job he has done this year and the progression of his career. You want to talk about a dude who has got a powerful leg. And really when we get later in the season, right? Cold and, maybe some windy weather. That guy has been awesome. Let's give some love to the punters here. Daniel Whelan is awesome. When you got to flip the field, he can flip the field for you. Not only just booming that thing, but gives you hang time with it too. So I want to give a little love to Daniel. We talk a lot about special teams and, at points, the kicking situation, the penalties. The one thing I will say, you open up a game and you kick it off or you're getting the ball. Why are we getting still a penalty? It feels like we did it in Detroit. I'm not going to sit here and say it's every game because I don't know if it's every game. It just feels like it's a lot. Come on. How are we opening up the game with a penalty right away on special teams? Got to stop that. But Daniel Whelan, you want to talk about Mr. Consistency and such? The only knock we could probably give him is laces out, Dan, on the one kick. But from a punting standpoint, dude has been awesome. Absolutely awesome. So, Micah Parsons. It's between him and Myles Garrett. That's probably going to win Defensive Player of the Year. And, Myles Garrett is just kind of a wrecking machine. That dude is just, you talk about two of the best pass rushers in this league. Myles Garrett's got 19 sacks on the season, okay? This guy is absolutely remarkable. Absolutely remarkable. And there's no question, Micah Parsons has been absolutely great this year too. But what Myles Garrett is doing this year, there's a chance he might break that sack record. We'll see how it all kind of plays out here. But it totally makes sense why both these guys are top 2 in Defensive Player of the Year odds. But from Micah's standpoint, when you look at what he has done this year, has he kind of met? Let's be real. You throw in 2 first-round picks and Kenny Clark, and then you sign him to that massive deal. Expectations are going to be high, right? They got to be. Has he met or has he exceeded those expectations? I'll be honest. I think for me, a little exceeded. Just a scotch. He's definitely met them. But I'll even throw in, he's exceeded them a little bit for me too, because what's impressed me the most is the guy, it doesn't matter if he's getting double teamed. He is still getting after the quarterback. He is still affecting games. offenses know who they have to stop, yet they can't stop that guy. So numbers-wise, sack-wise, yeah, he's meeting it. And honestly, he's probably going to set a career high. The most sacks that he's had in a single season are 14. That was back in 2023. And he's on pace to break that. But the way he is just affecting these games, it's like double team don't matter. Bull rush, speed, he's getting after you. The speed from this guy is just mind-boggling. How he can just run down a bunch of dudes. I mean, you know, the fact that Jahmyr Gibbs got by him and everybody's making a big deal about it on that one play on Thanksgiving kind of tells you about the closing speed of this guy. And speaking of closing, I mean, we want these guys, these pass rushers, these defensive players to really stand out in the fourth quarter, to make their impact in the fourth quarter, right? And that's what you're seeing from Micah Parsons. So, honestly, I feel like he's kind of exceeded it just a little bit. Not like, whoa, I wasn't expecting this. Yeah, I'm expecting those sack numbers and such. But the way he has been going about it, the way he's had to battle through some of these double teams and such. And like C-Bomb has said a little bit earlier, all the talk about Micah Parsons was, in the offseason and minicamp was his back. And even before the season started for the Packers, there was talk about back issues and he was going to have to take pain injections to play. And like C-Bomb said, you haven't heard anything about it now. So I don't know if he is or not. I know he wasn't at the beginning. I don't know if that's still the case. But the guy has just been absolutely dominant. So I would argue he's kind of – I get why you're getting Reggie White comparisons. I mean, he's doing stuff similar to Reggie White. I mean, to compare him to one of the NFL's greatest players of all time, arguably a top 10 player of all time is – I mean, that's high praise. But you get it. You understand it. He's, the second player since 1982 to hit 10.5 sacks in each of his first 5 seasons. 10 or more sacks in each of his 5 seasons. Reggie White was the other one. I mean, anybody who's old enough to remember watching White suit up for Green Bay or even Philly, you get it. You're like, yeah. And I think all of us Packers fans we're hoping it turns out to be another Reggie White type of feeling where it lands a Super Bowl. Maybe right now Micah Parsons is on a Hall of Fame path. There's no question about it. He's only 26 years old. But, man, think about this, too. It's like you go back in Packers history. Ron Wolf, he got Reggie White. Ted Thompson, he got Charles Woodson. Goody, Micah Parsons. Those are defensive players. Ron Wolf got Brett Favre. Ted Thompson got Aaron Rodgers. Not ready to put Jordan Love in there yet, but, man, you want to talk about legacies for general managers, too, for the Packers. Right now, it's not too bad. Games with at least 2 sacks by a player in their first 5 seasons, too. Micah Parsons is up there. Reggie White's got the most, 24. J.J. Watt, 21. Richard Dent, 19. Micah Parsons, 18. Man. All right, we got to take our final break here. I do want to get to some Isaiah McDuffie talk coming up a little bit later on as well. But continue to send me your grades, third quarter grades for the Pack. Text them to me. Only a couple minutes left to the top of the hour here. So, again, hit us up with a text or comment on the YouTube stream. Good morning, everybody over on YouTube. I like the good morning messages on there, so keep them coming. But you can either hit us up on the YouTube stream or the texting line with your Packers third quarter grades. Again, it's just the last 4 games we're looking at. That would be the Eagles, that would be the Giants, that would be the Vikings, and that would be the Lions. So we'll get back to those coming up a little bit later on here this morning. We'll catch up with Morgan. Good morning, Morgan.
Winter driving, yay or nay?
I don't mind it. I think people psych themselves out too much. Leave early to go to your destination.
Do you think you're a good winter driver?
Yes.
Explain why.
Because I am.
Well, you have a truck, too. That makes a big difference.
I did it with an Oldsmobile Achieva. I'd go to, go to long trips during snowstorms. Just leave early, drive slow.
So
don't be intimidated.
What's your biggest pet peeve about winter driving that's different than any other driving around the year?
The other people.
Namely?
People who don't know how to drive in winter.
Because, not leaving enough tailgate space?
That's turn your lights on.
Okay.
I mean, just do the basic stuff. It bugs me. Okay, yeah, we've done this before, people.
Right. Winter's not new.
Winter's not new. Leave earlier if you have to. Start your car up a little bit earlier to melt off the ice off your windshield. It's not that hard.
Now, do you think that you would be somebody that would enjoy, do you like plowing? Some people like winter driving because it's more of a challenge and it requires more skill. Mm-hmm. Do you prefer it to every other,
no, I don't think I'd prefer it.
Okay, so what about plowing? Do you like to get out?
I hate snow shoveling.
Okay, but have you plowed before?
Like snow blowing or
yeah,
just
on a truck in a truck.
I have not done that. No.
Would you? Do you think it's the winter version of mowing the lawn? It has some kind of instantaneous results when you're not landscaping and mowing the lawn. Some people consider it the winter version of it.
I like mowing better
because
I get to sit on my rider and do it
and drink a beer.
Yeah, it's nice out. My worst is I hate leaves. I'd rather shovel than go rake leaves.
Rake leaves?
Yep.
Now, what about just leaving them? You're not in camp, leave the leaves?
No, on the yard I do. I mulch them, but it's the basketball court I got to pick them up.
Oh, I see.
Because they all funnel into the corner there.
And you have that full-size court at your house, too, I know. So that's a lot of leaves, yeah.
Thanks, Marks.
Yeah.
Second hour kicking off right now on this Tuesday morning of December 2nd. Thanks for hanging out with us this morning if you're up and at it and getting going here. We'll get back to some more green and gold chats coming up a little bit later on, but send us your grades, your third quarter grades. What do you got for the Packers? We're looking at this stretch of games here for our third quarter. It is the Eagles game, the Giants game, the Vikings game, and this past Lions game. I'll leave it up to you what all you want to grade. You want to do overall, just the overall team grade? That's fine. If you want to add in offensive grades, defensive grades, coaching grades, that's perfectly fine as well. But you can continue to send those on over. Hit us up with a text, 715-830-1912. All right. We're going to get to that. We've got our Hy-Vee Gamechanger. Sorry, I was getting sidetracked by stupid comments and such. But getting sidetracked by, now I'm really getting sidetracked here. Got Murph dancing in the other studio, and that's catching my eyes over there. He's pumped because it's Festival of Toys Week this week. So that's, again, it's the annual Festival of Toys. So he's going to be at the Festival Foods location in Chippewa today. So, but it's going on through the rest of this week here. So if you got new, unused, unwrapped toys that you can donate for a Festival of Toys food toy drive, please do so at all the festival locations in the Chippewa Valley. So yeah, he's getting pumped up and excited about that in the other studio. And I got a direct line windows across. It's getting me distracted over there. So anyways, don't forget to send me your game changers for this week. My game changer is, I'm going to go Matt LaFleur. What he did from a mindset, from a play calling standpoint, from an aggressive standpoint, dude was on Thursday. And I think that was a big reason why the Packers got that victory against the Lions. So that I thought that set the tone and changed the flow of the game. I mean, you're talking, we could go individually too. You could go Jordan Love is a game changer if you want for those fourth down throws. Dontavian Wicks would be a fantastic choice too for our game changer of the week. Honestly, that I'd probably go Matt LaFleur 1A and Dontavian Wicks 1B because of what they did Thursday in that Lions game. So those are my game changers for this week. Send those on over. Continue to send your grades. 715-830-1912. All right. I want to talk a little Bucks coming up here, too. By the way, we're going to talk some Badgers with RJ coming up next hour. We'll kind of put a pin on this Badger football season going forward, looking to the offseason and such. We'll hit that up with Mr. Cardinal coming up here in just a little bit, throwing a little hockey, throwing a little hoops, throwing some volleyball chats with RJ as well. But Bucks falling last night, a bad loss. Bad loss against the Wizards last night. I mean, the Wizards came in with just 2 flipping wins on the schedule. And the Bucks, with Giannis playing, lose 129-126. Kevin Porter Jr. led the team in scoring with 30 points. Giannis contributed 26. But defensively, what are we doing here? You had Marvin Bagley had 22. C.J. McCollum had 28. Chris Middleton had 15 points against his former team. Cam Whitmore had 17. It's just this year, the defense. Honestly, I would argue throughout the majority part of Doc Rivers' tenure as Bucks coach defensively, the numbers have been just awful. They're 22nd right now in overall defensive rating, which I think, because you go back, and I was looking at this last night too, watching this game and looking back at some of the defensive rankings through Doc Rivers' tenure as head coach, like Boston and 76ers and such. Like Boston, defensively, they were great. 76ers, they were solid. And Doc Rivers always had like a defensive mindset. That thing's out the window. And the thing is, too, with Boston, let's not kid ourselves. You had Kevin Garnett, one of the better defensive players in the league. Rajon Rondo was an aggressive defender, too, on the perimeter. So, I mean, that's, you kind of look at that. This whole mindset of some of the national peeps out there that Doc Rivers still like, no. You look at his Bucks, no. To me, the clock's ticking here. Okay? It's not working with Doc. I don't like calling for people's jobs. I don't like calling for firings. I don't. But I think it's time. It's just this thing ain't working. Honestly, I wouldn't mind if they give Darvin Ham a shot now. He's an assistant. He is well respected on this entire ball club. And I honestly believe he would have been the head coach if he didn't leave for the Lakers job, or if he didn't get that Lakers job. I feel like he would have been the head coach after Mike Budenholzer. He has a great relationship with Giannis. He has a great relationship with a ton of these players. Again, well respected on this ball club. I wouldn't mind. We're getting to that point. Let's see what Darvin Ham could do with this ball club. Maybe it'd be something different. But it's frustrating to watch. You got your full strength squad, and I get it, it's just one game, but still, you're 9-13 to begin the year, and this is the effort we get, or this is the effort we show. And I know Doc was critical of his team's effort after the game last night, but it's not good right now. It's not good in Milwaukee. And things are going to get more. I mean, you got the 76ers coming up on Friday. Well, first of all, before that, you got the Pistons tomorrow. You got one of the top teams in the entire association. Then the 76ers. Then the Pistons again. It's frustrating to watch. And the calls for Giannis to be traded, the calls for Giannis to be that he should force his way out. Oh, it's going to get louder. Louder from the national peeps out there. And right now, if you're Giannis and you're looking at, and I get it, him missing time, that's what got this team into their little bit of a slump, losing streak in that, but that just puts more and more on his shoulders that guy cannot miss a single game for the rest of the year for this team to have a chance to win a bunch of games. You talk about first quarter grades for the Bucks like we did yesterday. If this game, if we counted it into our first quarter grades, it would significantly lower the overall grade. That was a pathetic performance last night. Sloppy play, turnovers. It's not good right now with Bucks basketball. And for a team that has been aggressive with moves, whether it's been firing coaches or making trades and player acquisitions, I'm really curious to see what they're going to do before the trade deadline. And that's not till February. Would they make a move before then? They got to do something. The pressure's on. The pressure is on John Horst. The pressure is on this team to do something. Light a spark. Get this thing going. Is that letting go of Doc? We'll see. It's not working. It's not working. Players may like him, but it's a results business, and right now the results are not good for Bucks basketball. All right, let's take a quick break. We'll talk some more hoops. We got more game changers to get to here as well. So we'll take a quick break and be right back after these few words. Three weeks from today, it is our annual Festivus show from the VFW Post 305, located on Star Avenue. We're going to be doing the program 6A to 10A. So if you got the day off, you got some time to stop on by, please do so. Hang out with us. It's going to be our last program for the 2025 season. Going to have a lot of fun here, too. Plus, the VFW Post 305 during the show. So this might be a good reason maybe to put in the day off and have a little bit of a longer week off here. But during the program from 6A to 10A, the VFW Post 305 is going to be running $1 domestic mug specials from 6A to 10A. $1 domestic mug specials. $2 craft mugs during the show. All right? That can't get you to take the day off and just have a little bit of an extended Christmas break there. I don't know what does. All right. Plus, their breakfast special is going to be 2 eggs and corned beef hash and toast for just $11.50. So, can't wait. 3 weeks from today. Plus, we've got Surveyor and C-Bomb going mano-y-mano for the feats of strength. We'll get you the time. We'll get you the time after both of them agree to a time. I'm throwing it back to those two. So if C-Bomb and Surveyor are listening, you guys got to give me a time that you both will agree upon so we can announce it, so we can get everybody to stop by and watch that too. So that's 3 weeks from today already. 3 weeks from today, our Festivus program that VFW Post 305 is letting us hang out and do it from too. So should be a lot of fun. Looking forward to that. Some more grades. First of all, we got some Hy-Vee Gamechangers. C-Bomb, speaking of C-Bomb, went with Dontavian Wicks. Dude was money for Jordan Love last weekend. Hopefully a sign of more to come. We have Tim also going with Dontavian Wicks. We've got Jeremy coming in with a Matt LaFleur, and Tony going with a Jordan Love for our game changer. For some grades, for some Packer grades, we've got B overall from Steve. We've got a B plus from a Ben. He's going B minus for Matt LaFleur, A for Jeff Halfley. We've got a Jordan Love grade, also B plus. Some more team grades here. We've got Chris is going with a B overall, B minus offense, B plus for the defense. Timmy earlier, too, said about Doc Rivers, anybody that's surprised that a Doc Rivers coach team doesn't play defense has not been paying attention. So, yeah, I just, if you're looking up some Bucs stuff right now, you're probably thinking, okay, who can the Bucs get to try to help them out? Who are some of the players that can go help them out? So it's just, I saw DeMar DeRozan, I saw Ball. I mean, there's names being floated out there that could potentially, and these are mostly fan blogs, or these are blogs that are just like throwing out some trade projections. So it's, don't get your hopes up don't read too much into it. That's where I hate it when people say, hey, trade rumor. There's a trade rumor that Bucs are going to go after DeMar DeRozan, but it's actually like just a blog post that somebody's like, hey, what about this? And that's the thing with social media too, that kind of grinds my gears on this Toyson Ford Grind My Gears Tuesday. No, it's not a rumor. John Hort, I mean, who knows if they're even talking about it, but it's like we got to be careful sometimes when you go on social media, especially with AI now these days and these random stuff that just annoys the crap out of me when I open up Facebook. And it's like, Donald Driver I don't know why this one is so popular. Donald Driver found out he's making the Pro Football Hall of Fame. What? No. I guess that's my Toyson Ford Grind My Gears Tuesday. It is just this influx of like stupid stuff that's out there. It's like, what? And people believe it. It's like, no. Stop sharing that stuff. Look it up. Read it before you post it. Read it before you throw it out there. It's, yeah. I didn't know that was going to be my grind my gears Tuesday, but it is because I've been seeing, it was all over Facebook. Oh, DeMar DeRozan for the Bucks. So the Bucks, cool. It's more of a blog post, trade proposal sort of thing. Yeah, it was on Bleacher Report. So I don't know, but I'm the clock's ticking here for this Bucks team. The pressure is mounting. The pressure is, you're 9-13. I get it. We just completed the first quarter of this NBA season. There's a ton more games to go. But if things don't turn around here soon and you continue to dig yourself into a deeper hole, and it's not to say that the Bucks, they can't go out there and put on a winning streak. But, do you have the confidence that this Bucks team can do it? I don't. I hate saying that with a team led by Giannis. I don't. You're looking at the standings here. You got Detroit that's 17-4. The Bucks are 8.5 games back. Granted, yeah, they're one game behind Chicago for that 10 spot. But for crying out loud, if they're a team that's in the 7-10s, when you look at Boston's down this year, Indiana's down this year. Hell, even Cleveland's just 4 games above 500. In a year that you might have been able to kind of take advantage of a quote-unquote weaker conference, it's been a putrid start. Putrid start. All right, we got to take... No, we're not going to take a break here. I'm a little ahead of schedule here, going on a little bit of a rant. Some more grades coming in here for Green Bay. Let me bring it up here. We got another B. We got another Aaron is going with A- for the Packers in the third quarter. I think that's our highest one so far. All right. I like it. I want to talk a little Isaiah McDuffie here, switching gears, just kind of going back and forth here. So shout out to Big Worm. He sent this to me on Instagram this morning or yesterday. Big Worm. I don't know if you're listening. So I'm gonna pull it up here because I thought it was kind of an interesting thing. Let me see if I can find it here. Otherwise, Big Worm, if you're listening, text it to our texting line here. But here we go. I got it. Linebacker performance ranks. Now, I'm not sure where. So this is from Sports Nation Code. So I'll be honest. I don't know their formula and such. And I don't know how legit it is, but I thought it was kind of interesting. Week 12, linebacker performance ranks. Isaiah McDuffie was number 1. You had Edrin Cooper at 31. Now, these are linebackers with a minimum of 25 snaps. Isaiah McDuffie, their grade was like a 99. Okay. So, again, I'm not familiar with this one. They got quite a following here. I will say that. Also, they got some safety ones. Evan Williams is on there too for the third-ranked safety. Xavier McKinney, 27th in Week 12. So, but Evan Williams is an interesting topic here too. We might have to save that one a little bit later on. But Isaiah McDuffie, obviously getting an increase in playing time because of the injury to Quay Walker. And if we go back to the offseason, when Isaiah McDuffie signed that contract extension, there were quite a few Packers fans saying, why? Why sign Isaiah McDuffie to that contract? He barely plays. You're investing money into a guy that is barely on the field, maybe more of a special teams type of player. Well, yeah, because it was a 2-year, $8 million deal. 2-year, $8 million deal. And essentially, it when you look at it, a 1 year, because if it didn't work out, they wanted to move on. They just have a dead cap space of about $1.3 million. But his cap hit for next year is just under 5. But this guy, you want to talk about grades for third quarter, I would imagine this guy is going to receive some high grades. This guy has been playing some really solid football in these last 2 weeks, filling in for Quay Walker, which is, we know Quay Walker is going to be a free agent. We know the Packers want to re-sign Quay Walker. And I know the question is going to be thrown out there. Is Isaiah McDuffie's play making it easier for Green Bay to move on from Quay Walker? But let's also be fair here, too. Though they're two different styles of linebackers, right? Isaiah McDuffie, a little bit smaller, 6'1", about 225, between 225 to 230. Quay Walker, when you look at him, he's more like the Edgerrin Cooper, right? He's 6'4", 240 pounds. What I thought was kind of interesting here, looking at Pro Football Focus grades, Isaiah McDuffie has an overall grade of an 80. That is 8th best. 8th best amongst all linebackers. I mean, I think Isaiah McDuffie, maybe sort of quietly having a very, very impressive season so far that I think a lot of fans probably don't realize. And I don't know if he's making it easier on the Packers' decision to, do we extend Quay? Do we give him a bigger deal? Because it's going to cost. Let's not kid ourselves. It's going to cost a lot of money to keep Quay Walker around. But I think maybe it gives it a little bit of a pause. And this is where, the other thing here too is at the beginning of the year, and I think we even talked about it last year, I thought, part of me was wondering, was Quay Walker playing out of position? Is he best suited for the mic? Is he best suited to play that position? Because he was just a player that felt like, okay, he's doing some more thinking instead of just reacting and going out there and playing. And I got to give him credit. Quay Walker this year has been playing better. But it really brings into question, is their best lineup in base maybe? And then I get it. Base defense is kind of a rarity these days. A lot of teams going nickel. So, I mean, they're not playing a ton of base to begin with, and your two linebackers that you want out there is going to be Quay Walker and Edgerrin Cooper. Let's listen. I mean, those are the two most athletic, physically gifted linebackers they have on this roster. But I always thought from a base perspective, McDuffie would be the better Mike. You put Quay, and then you put Edgerrin Cooper on there. But if you are going to play a majority of your time in that base defense, you're probably going to have one of those linebackers wear the green dot, and in this case, Quay Walker. Now, some teams have done it with a safety, and I think, if you look at it, it's like, Xavier McKinney could probably do that too, and he probably could. But we're kind of going down a rabbit hole in that aspect. But, I mean, Isaiah McDuffie, this guy, what he has done so far this season has just been, he's been a big-time boost. And it's not just, I mean, he's a sneaky good pass rusher. He's already got a couple sacks this year. And I don't know if it's because he is a little bit on the smaller side and he can sneak through that line of scrimmage and such. But he is a sneaky, solid linebacker. Or a sneaky, solid pass rusher. And when you look at, again, if we use Pro Football Focus grades as a barometer, I mentioned Isaiah McDuffie's grades 80, which is 8th best amongst linebackers. Edrin Cooper, 74.8, which is 18th best. Quay's at a 55.3, which is 57th. Again, this is just, I'm not saying Pro Football Focus is the be-all, tell-all, because I don't think it is. But it's, I think, something still to kind of take a look at and, use it as a tool, as part of the toolbox. All right, let's take a quick break now. We'll be back after these quick words. Make your holidays merry and bright with a trip to Hy-Vee in Eau Claire. From fresh holiday hams and turkeys to seasonal produce, bakery treats, and all your favorite pantry staples, Hy-Vee has everything you need for festive meals and gatherings. Their friendly staff is ready to help you find the perfect ingredients, and weekly specials make holiday shopping simple, easy, on your budget. Hy-Vee in Eau Claire bringing freshness, value, and holiday cheer to your kitchen this season. You know what also would make a really good stocking stuffer from Hy-Vee? Yeah, grabbing yourself some Man Cave Light. That's what would make a really good stocking stuffer. So, lots of grades coming in now here for the Packers. We've got a B. We've got a lot of Bs, and that goes with the majority. I won't go through all of them, but there's quite a few Bs. We did have a C+ and a B+ coming in here too. Mark, switching gears here, says, I'm no NBA expert, but it seems like the Bucs' biggest issue is defense. For me, playing good defense is largely a mindset. Obviously, Doc is not setting that mindset with his team. Maybe someone else can change that. Yeah, I mean, let me see if I can find. And I'm just kind of curious to see. Okay, so the Bucs, I was just looking like 2021 Bucs, because that's when they won the championship, right? 2021. Was it 2020? I'm double checking. Yeah. So, okay, so that was 2021. I want defensive rankings for the year prior. I'm just curious, the Bucs championship year with Mike Budenholzer. Where was the 10th? Okay, so yeah, 2020, 2021. The team with the best defensive, or the Bucs had the 10th best defensive rating all season long, which Suns, the team they faced in the finals, had the 9th best. The teams ahead of them were the Lakers, 76ers, Knicks, Jazz, Warriors, Grizzlies, Heat, Clippers. So, I mean, we know Mike Budenholzer was more of a defensive-minded head coach there too. So, yeah, I would agree. Like, defense is a mindset. You got to want to play defense. I mean, everybody should want to play defense, but especially like in basketball, it is definitely a mindset. And I mean, you look at the game being played now too, and I get it from a fan perspective. It's not the most exciting thing when you get into, low-scoring games. But for crying out loud, the 90s, when basketball was at its peak, I would argue, I think 90s hoops was awesome. But, I mean, you had games in the 80s, maybe in the 90s. A few times it'd be in the hundreds. Now it's like if you can't reach over 100, it's like, oh, geez, what's going on here with the offensive side of things? I mean, okay, 2020, the Lakers had a defensive rating of 107.1. I just want to, what was it like in, let me see if I can find it. Oh, that's not what I want. Yeah, so I mean, like 1996, best team was the Heat at 100. So you're talking about like a 7-point difference. How about earlier, 94? Why am I typing it in that way? So 94, yeah, so kind of similar. So it's definitely gone up. Defensive ratings have gone up for best defense. But, I mean, you kind of look at it across all the sports. It's not just basketball. It's football. Even baseball. These leagues and these associations, they prioritize offense. More touchdowns, more points, more runs. But, yeah, going back to the question at hand, I think it definitely is defense. Something's got to change. They got to buy in. They got to change the something's got to change from the defensive side. You cannot. I know it was just one game against the Wizards, but for crying out loud, that effort was pathetic. That was just, if you were watching the game last night, that was just pathetic. It was awful. It stunk. And I hate to say it because it's just December 2nd, but I'm starting to lose a little bit of excitement for Bucks basketball. I know we got a long ways to go here, and I'm not trying to be over dramatic and that, but I mean, I was really hoping that this Bucks team would kind of catch a lot of people by surprise this year, and where a lot of people were overlooking them because, I mean, let's face it, a lot of people were. National predictions and such. There was a lot of like, oh, yep, they're not going to be that great this year. They're going to be bottom end. And we're like, wait. At least I wasn't. I know quite a few listeners were too. It's like, maybe catch them by surprise. And nope, not yet. And I know last year too, they got off to that really slow start where they dug themselves in a hole. Would they lose like 10 in a row or whatever it was? They were off to a 1-10 start or something like that after they won their first game and they were able to get back into it. And that easily can happen again this year. It's frustrating. I hate it when we get our teams that dig themselves into a hole and you got to try to climb out of it. I hate that. It's like the last couple of years or two of the last 3 years of the Mike Sherman era when it comes to the Packers. Remember those? Outside of the 05 one where that was just a 4-12 year. But the 2 years before that, it's like got to win your Final Four to get in. Yeah, it's drama and it's exciting and such, but it's like, can we just get off to better starts? I mean, that was just like rinse and repeat. You're like, what was it, 6-4? Or no, 6-6? Whatever it was, but it was like they had to go on these runs at the end of the year, and then the 1 year you need the Cardinals receiver Poole, was his name Poole, to make that ridiculous catch in the end zone, game-winning catch, and knock the Vikings out, and Packers end up winning. I think that the Packers game was that when they were playing the Broncos at home, and Amon Green had that 98-yard run. I mean, just went off that year. But it was like, man, why do we dig ourselves into holes, and then we just got to go on these runs at the end? Sometimes it works out like, okay, the 2010 Packers did that, and they ended up going to the Super Bowl, but at least they used that momentum to get a championship, whereas those Packers ones were just like happy to get back to the postseason. So, and this Packers season too, it's not really because they started slow. It's just a lot of really good teams in the NFC, so it's going to go straight to the finish line here. I just hate it that the Bucs again this year have to dig themselves out of another hole and try to climb back into these standings. Because now you're playing, you got to go in there with an old school mindset of like playing every single game, every minute, and I don't know. Hopefully they could turn it around. But Big Worm says Bears week, keys to victory simple: run the ball, keep the pocket clean. And if Parsons can't get home, Van Ness, Gary have to. Also, are you impressed by the play, McDuff? You must have just missed it, Big Worm, because I was literally talking about the thing that you sent me on Instagram like 10 minutes ago. I was just talking about that. So, yeah, we hit that up a little bit. I don't think Van Ness is going to play this weekend, though, either. He was in a walking boot yesterday, they said. So, John, I give the Packers a B+. Outside the loss to the Eagles, the Packers did what they were supposed to do and win. The wins, you can say, were ugly, but a win is a win. Yeah, I mean, and Eagles one was there for the taking, wasn't it? It was right there. I want to throw back to the Micah Parsons question that we were asking a little bit earlier. Has he met expectations? Has he exceeded your expectations in his first year in Green Bay? Beyond, you could be honest. Like, okay, I thought he was going to be good, but maybe I didn't think he was going to be this good for Green Bay. And I think you do have to factor in how many times a guy gets double teamed and he still gets through that, and he still is just like wreaking havoc. 12.5 sacks. At this pace, he's probably going to finish second in Defensive Player of the Year because Myles Garrett's at 19 sacks right now. But from what you've seen from Micah this year, has he met? I think I said it in the first hour. I think for me personally, he's exceeded it just by a little bit. Like I expected 10+ sacks, double-digit sacks. But I think what's impressed me mostly is the constant double teaming and even at triple teaming at times, still getting through. The speed. Yeah, I mean, he's doing it multiple different ways. Bull rush, speed, athleticism. And I get it. I had somebody tweet at me. It's like, if he's getting double teamed, where's everybody else? That's the question. You know, that's the question when it regards guys like Rashawn Gary. That's the big unknown. All right, we got to take our final break for this hour. Continue to send me your Packers grades. It is a Toyson Ford Grind My Gears Tuesday. So what is grinding your gears? What is grinding your gears? Also, your Hy-Vee Gamechanger of the week. A play, a player, a person. Again, doesn't have to be somebody who had a top 10 play. Doesn't have to be a play that showed up in the stat sheets. But who are your game changers for this past week? We'll take our final break for this hour. And we'll be back to wrap up hour 2 and get to halftime. Coming up in just a couple minutes. This holiday season, give your home a fresh new look with Carpet City Flooring Center in Eau Claire. Whether it's cozy carpet for the living room, stylish luxury vinyl planks for the dining room, or durable vinyl for those high-traffic areas, Carpet City Flooring Center has the perfect flooring to make your home warm and welcoming for family and friends. Their experienced team will help you choose the right style, guide you through measurements, and provide professional installation, making it easy to get your home holiday ready without stress. With quality products, fair pricing, and service you can trust, Carpet City Flooring Center has been helping homeowners in the Chippewa Valley for their spaces for years. Don't wait. Stop by today and see their wide selection. You can check them out online at carpetcitywi.com. Carpet City Flooring Center, bringing warmth, style, and comfort to your home this season. I think John makes a really good point here. Micah Parsons has not only met my expectations, he has surpassed my expectations. What is this Packers defense without Micah Parsons? What is this Packers team, I would add, without Micah Parsons? Where is this team without Micah Parsons this year? What if Micah Parsons was not on his team? And I'm not trying to knock the guy, but what if the trade doesn't happen and it's Kenny Clark? What if that trade doesn't happen? Where do you think this team is? Do a little what if. I think right now, if I had to vote for a team MVP, it's Micah. I know it's a quarterback-driven league, and you got to have a quarterback. I mean, look at Minnesota. You got to have a quarterback. And maybe J.J. McCarthy. I mean, let's. I know I'm a Packers fan, so part of me is like kind of like, hey, yay, thumbs up, seeing what's happening with Minnesota right now. But I think let's not count out J.J. McCarthy's career yet. Okay, let's pump the brakes a little bit on that. But I mean, it is obvious. You need good quarterback play in this league. But right now, for me, my team MVP has got to be Micah. And that is a what if. Like, what if Green Bay didn't make that trade? Given everything else we have seen in the NFC play out this year, the Bears, I mean, Rams are playing really, all these teams. Do you think Green Bay's making the postseason in a crowded NFC? I don't think there is a dominant team by any means, but it's a crowded field. If Green Bay doesn't have Micah Parsons, is this a playoff team? I think it's an interesting what if. I might make that a Post-Glass and Mirror 715 Speaks poll question for tomorrow. What if Green Bay didn't have Micah this year? Are they a playoff team? Or maybe they're hovering around 500. I kind of feel like they'd be hovering around 500 a little bit. Somewhere around there. And I know a lot of people are like, well, look at what they did last year. It's like 10-7, and they won one game in the division, and that was barely. A little bit of a tougher schedule this year. So, just kind of a nice little interesting what if. All right, coming up next hour, we're going to catch up with RJ Cardinal. We'll put a bow on this Badger football season, look ahead to the offseason. We got volleyball, we got hockey, we got hoops. All things Badgers, too. So we'll catch up with RJ. I know Marquette's men's basketball. They're in action tonight, taking on Valparaiso. But we'll talk all things Badgers with RJ. To kick off the third quarter, I'll do my top 10 now that the week is over. My top 10, latest top 10 NFL teams, power rankings. Give me your top 10, top 5, whatever you want to do. Okay? Send those on over. Or your updated NFL power rankings, 5, 10. If you want to do all 32, go do 32. You get extra credit points then. All right. 2 in. 2 to go. Halfway mark. Halftime. Got some news updates, and we'll be back in just a few minutes. Third hour, kick it off on this Tuesday morning. Thanks for hanging out with us. Coming up in about 15 or so minutes, we'll catch up with Mr. RJ Cardinal. We'll talk some Badgers with him, put a bow on this Badger football season, kind of take an early look at the upcoming off season. We'll talk some Badger hoops, hockey, volleyball, all things Badgers with Mr. RJ coming up in again about 15 or 20 minutes or so. So we'll hit that up. Also, continuing to get your grades, we've got James on there saying Packers grade, tough grade to come up with. Blocked field goal away from the 1 seed in the NFC. That would make me want to give them an A-, but that doesn't feel right. I would give them a B overall because their consistency grade would be a C. If they bump the consistency to a B, we'll get that grade back into an A category. Good morning. I think I'm giving the Packers a solid B for a third quarter grade, and I think that puts my overall grade at a B+. That's from Zach on our texting line, or on our YouTube stream. So continue to join in on the conversations over there, or you can hit us up with texts and such. I'm kind of throwing out an informal poll question. Is this a playoff team with no Micah Parsons? If the Packers don't make that trade, is this a playoff team right now? I'm going to say no. I don't think they are. Just with the NFC and how it's kind of all played out, I'm going to say no. But your thoughts? Hit me up, text it, or hit us up on the video stream. All right, since we got another week in the books here of this NFL season, week 13 in the books here. So let's do our latest edition of our power rankings as we get set for week 14. That starts Thursday. Cowboys, Lions. Big game for both those ball clubs to stay in a playoff chase here. Looking at some of these other games coming up this weekend too, you've got, that Colts and Jaguars game is going to be huge for AFC South implications. Pittsburgh at Baltimore, huge for NFC North implications. Chicago at Green Bay. Did I say NFC North? AFC North implications, because Chicago, Green Bay, huge for NFC North. Houston, Kansas City, huge. Philly at the Chargers, huge. We got some really good games coming up for week 14. So heading into week 14, my power rankings, I had to get Tony, Bloomer Tony, if you're listening, I had to get the marker board out again, big guy. That was such a great idea, man. Number 10, I'm going to go with the Colts, although arrow trending down. I did almost think about putting the Jaguars there. Thought about putting Houston Texans there for the way they have been playing. Still giving a little bit of an edge to the Colts. Just a little bit of an edge there. But I would say if you're a Colts fan, you should be getting nervous. Get a little bit nervous here, especially knowing what's upcoming on your schedule, because it's brutal. Jaguars, Seahawks, both games on the road. 49ers, Jaguars, Texans. That is a brutal finish for a team that started off so hot this year. 9, I'm going to go with the Bills. 8, 49ers. I get it. Ben Johnson should, right now, if there was a coach of the year, it's probably going to be Ben Johnson, or I would say Mike Vrabel. I think it's between those two. But all the injuries that have been dealt by the 49ers, and as painful as it is for me to say this, because 49ers are probably a top 5 rival for me. You got to give Kyle Shanahan, Robert Saleh, that entire group a ton of credit for as many injuries as they've had, and to go out there and put themselves in a position that they're in a very tough NFC West. That's pretty impressive. When you lose Fred Warner, when you lose Nick Bosa, and you lose your starting quarterback for a stretch, you don't have Brandon Ayuk, and 49ers are putting themselves in a playoff spot. That's pretty darn impressive. So 7 Eagles, arrows trending down. You see that report yesterday? Their offensive coordinator's house got egged after that Friday night loss to the Bears. They got egged. That's creepy. That's scary. I don't want people knowing where I live, and I know it's 2025, and you can easily find this out, and you can Google it, and you can go on these apps and that. I understand that. I get that. But, man, that's first of all, that's creepy. That's scary. But it's right up the alley of Philly fans. Jeez. 6, I've got the Bears. 6, I got the Bears. 5th, I've got the Pack. I mean, this game will easily flip-flop it or maybe even move one team up or down. 4th, I've got the Seahawks. 3rd, I've got the Rams. So, I mean, I'm going back-to-back division races here. And then my top 2 or top 3, top 2, Broncos at 2, Patriots 1. So, Patriots 1, Broncos 2, Rams 3, Seahawks 4, Packers 5, Bears 6, Eagles 7, 49ers 8, Bills 9, Colts 10. I really, just from a pure fan standpoint, I really hope we're not getting ready for another Patriots run of championships and wins. I really hope we're not there. This isn't supposed to happen. Now, it's like, well, Rich, coming from a Packers fan who's had a lot of really good quarterback play throughout my whole life. So I understand, that. But, I mean, we've only gotten 2 Super Bowls. Patriots have already gotten 6 with Brady and Belichick. Come on. You can go another 20 years without winning another one, for crying out loud. So, John's going Patriots, Rams, Seahawks, Packers, Broncos, Bears, Eagles, 49ers, Bills, Jaguars. Jaguars. All right. Keep sending those on over if you'd want to. Or you could do top 5. You could do top 10. You could do a whole lot more if you want to do all 32. Back to the Micah Parsons question. Zach says, that's a no for me. Parsons has been so aggressive and persistent. I also think that he has elevated everyone's game play by just being there. I don't see the Packers being in the mix without him. I agree. I agree with everything that Zach said. To me, this is not a playoff team, considering the depth of the NFC. We can argue whether there's a top team or not, like a dominant team. I don't think there is, but there's a group. It's a tight group, and Micah, to me, is the team MVP for this ball club. And this team is not in a position that they're in right now without him. And they're going to need to continue, or he's going to need to continue to play at the level that he is playing for this team to clinch a playoff spot and to advance. And that's why you pay these guys the boatload of money that he got. We talk about players not playing up to their contracts, players getting overpaid, whatever, however you want to phrase it. Micah Parsons, to me, is doing exactly what he is being paid to do as one of the highest paid players in all of football. He is worth every penny so far. I'm sure there's going to be some people saying, well, he's only got 12.5 sacks. Myles Garrett's got 19, and all that. You're not watching games. He is doing exactly what he should be doing with that contract. And again, I think he's, just from me, from personally, he is exceeding it a little bit. I mean, I expected double-digit sacks, but again, watch the games, and you can see the overall effect and how he is still getting some of those, getting through double teams, speed, athleticism, power, all over the place. Let's take a look at this. So some playoff scenarios with 5 weeks left to go. So we already know the teams that are eliminated: the Raiders, the Titans, the Giants, the Saints, and the Cardinals. There are 5 teams that can be eliminated this week: Jets, Browns, Washington, Atlanta. And I'm sorry, but Minnesota fans, you could be eliminated after this weekend. Teams that are, quote, in the hunt. This is from the 33rd team. Got the Dolphins and the Bengals. I mean, okay, Dolphins. I mean, it was looking like Mike McDaniel going to be the first coach hired or fired. They've just racked off four out of 4 wins in their last 5 games. They're winning on a 3-game winning streak, including that win against the Bills. They've got the Jets. That should be a winnable game to get them to 6-7. They can beat the Steelers to get them to 7-7. Bengals one's going to be huge, but yeah, then you got Buccaneers and Patriots. So yeah, I can see why they're, quote, in the hunt. Bengals one, I think they're in the hunt because that division just is not that great right now. But you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 20 teams out of 32 that are 500 or better right now. Yeah. That's some pretty solid parity entering the 5th week, or entering the final 5 weeks of this NFL season. That's pretty sweet. All right. Let's take a quick break. But don't forget, it is a Toyson Ford Grind My Gears, so send me what is grinding your gears. Send me your Hy-Vee Gamechangers from this past week. All right, could be a player, could be a person, could be a play. It doesn't have to be the best play. It doesn't have to be the best player. It's just somebody who had an overall effect on the game that changed the game. Could be the outcome of the game, could be, whatever. Send me your picks, and send me your Grind My Gears Tuesday picks too. So let's take a quick break. Then we're going to talk some Badgers with Mr. R.J. Cardinal. We'll put a bow on this Badger football season, talk some hoops, talk some hockey, talk a little volleyball, all that fun stuff. So RJ will be joining us coming up after these few words. Winter activities are here. Skiing, snowboarding, ice skating. The question is, are you ready? Chippewa Valley Orthopedics and Sports Medicine in Eau Claire is here to help you stay active and injury-free this season. From sports injuries to joint pain and arthritis, their experienced specialists provide personalized care and advanced treatments to get you back on the slopes or the ice quickly and safely. Don't let winter keep you on the sidelines. Schedule your appointment today by visiting cvosm.com. That's cvosm.com. Chippewa Valley Orthopedics and Sports Medicine. Switching gears, we're going to talk all things Badgers right now with our dude, Mr. R.J. Cardinal. All right, R.J., a few days removed. How you feeling now that this Badger football season is officially in the books? Relieved?
Yeah, I guess so. Don't have to live through any more week-to-week insecurities, I guess, until we see what kind of roster they put together for next year.
So I got to go back to that Minnesota game. What were your thoughts on how they handled the quarterback situation in that game?
I really feel like it needed to be done. Up until the 68-yard pass, nothing was happening. Mm-hmm. The defense, Minnesota's defense wasn't respecting the passing game at all, and rightfully so. Badgers weren't even trying to stretch the field. So when that came about, I wasn't upset about it. I know a lot of people said you forgot what got you to where you are right now. I mean, granted, it was 2 wins, but it seemed like it needed to be done. And outside of the 2 interceptions where Simmons basically stared down the receiver, and I mean, you had to have seen the defender there. Those were just inexplicable. But still finished with 162 passing yards. The offense started moving the ball better when he got in there. Then, I mean, they basically were doing a between the 20s and inside the 20s kind of quarterbacking, because, I mean, Hunter Simmons came in when they got down to the 5 right before halftime and took the ball in for a touch. Really more suited his game. Mm-hmm. Short intermediate passes and the ground game. So inside the 5 for that touchdown, with a nice toe tap 2 feet in. I mean, if people want to complain and say he stepped out of bounds and was the first one to touch it, maybe turn your heated field on so you don't have to worry about snow and white lines.
Yeah.
Just a thought. But I think they knew they couldn't turn on their field because I think that would have helped Wisconsin's defense a little too much. Even though went back and rewatched a good portion of the game, and the egregious holding going on by Minnesota's offensive line and tight ends, where, I mean, a lot of the Wisconsin defenders were in bear hugs or tackled, and not a lot of it called. Actually, none of it. I think there was 1 call on Minnesota all day. I mean, not a lot of flags in general, but who knows if Wisconsin would have won had they been allowed to play defense and not hindered. But that's a tale for a different time. Really, you can go look at the offense, and once again, the futility popped its ugly head out and really put Wisconsin's defense against it when it came to being on the field for a good portion of the time. And so it's just the microcosm of the entire season wrapped in one game.
Yeah, no kidding. So let me ask you this, kind of a 2-parter. 1, do they have their 2026 quarterback on the roster right now? And second, I've seen some people kind of throw this out there, and it's still weird for me to say this, but the phrase is, well, if they can pay for a quarterback, if the Badgers can pay for a quarterback in a transfer portal, this is a good team next year. Do you buy that narrative?
No, I don't think the quarterback is on this roster. I don't think the offense is a quarterback away. I mean, we've had probably the worst offensive line we've had in a long time. Can't get a push, can't get 2 yards beyond the line of scrimmage, undisciplined. Like, there's a lot that needs to be done on the offensive side of the ball to get things rolling. And quarterback, for whatever it's worth, is probably an important one, but you have to keep the receivers around. You have to keep your running backs around. You have to find an O-line and get a quarterback. Then still pay for replacing a D-line that was good this year, keeping your linebacking core intact. There's a lot of things that need to happen. So that the new investment into the team better be a lot of money, because it's a team that's going to look completely different otherwise. And I think at least offensively, I think we'd be okay with that. Defensively, you want most of those guys to return.
Yeah. I know yesterday one of the biggest news I saw out there for Badger football is that they were able to flip a 2026 wide receiver that was originally committed to Vanderbilt. But I guess kind of to piggyback off the quarterback's talk, how excited should we be about a wide receiver coming to Wisconsin if they don't have the quarterback on the roster?
Right. I mean, I guess it's good since we lost Pettit to Oklahoma, but so you're replacing him, which is good. But yeah, I mean, need to see who's going to be getting him the football first. And I mean, if it stays status quo, we're going to become an option team next year. And why would a receiver really want to be here? So I think there needs to be, well, at least internally, your offensive coordinator is going to have to sell like crazy to keep wide receivers or get wide receivers here. Because right now, yeah, like you said, there's no real reason to be optimistic about a receiver who won't be catching passes. He'll be blocking and really, for 5-yard gains. But yeah, it's one where right now, even in this day and age, it's hard to get excited for anything until somebody's name's on the dotted line, and then they stay for more than a year.
Right, exactly. That's the other part of me is like, okay, it's cool, but I'm still nervous. He might not even be there, or he's going to leave, or he's not going to play, and then he's going to leave. It's really hard for I guess me to get excited about recruits this day and age because I just don't know how long they're going to be there for.
Yeah, and if somebody has a breakout year, and even if they don't enter the portal, we'd be stupid to think people's agents, if they have one, aren't talking to other schools saying, hey, look what this kid did this year, and he could be a talent on a roster going for a championship rather than wasting away at Wisconsin, or insert school here. So I mean, even when a guy has a good year, you have to be worried about, is he going to be here next year? And it's not just, hey, we aren't playing somebody. What if they go somewhere next year for playing time, or they're not happy here because they aren't playing, even though they think they're better than whoever's in front of them? And it just becomes something where, it's where college athletics as a whole are, where it's really an unknown now, and it's hard to get behind a team when you don't know the names and faces.
Right. Exactly. So I know it's an early look to next year and such, but for Badger football, it is on paper right now, it looks like an easier schedule, and I know the expectation is at least a bowl game, I think, for a lot of people, but is it more than just a bowl game? Is it like a winning record, like not 6-6, but at least 7-5 and go into a bowl game?
I hope so.
Yeah.
Cause I mean, you look at it, 7 of your conference games, 7 of the 9 are against teams that were six are versus teams that are 500 or worse. One is Minnesota, who went 7-5, and then the other two, USC and Penn State. Nope, Penn State's in that below 5. What am I missing here? Oh well. But like 7 of the schools are games. Oh, the other one's Iowa. So USC and Iowa are on there. Those are your hard conference games. The rest are teams that are going to have new coaches, teams that aren't that much better than you, so it's a schedule that out of the conference games, judging by what you see this year, you can't go jotting down wins and losses, but on paper, looking at the names throughout the whole schedule, there should be 8 wins. Western Illinois, the 7 teams on your schedule for conference that you should be beating, and then your USC, Iowa. Right now, we're miles away from them. I'll chalk those up as losses. I'll chalk Notre Dame up as a loss, and even watching Pitt play, they looked more competent than us. So there's your 4 losses. You should be with this schedule next year, you should be able to comfortably make a bowl game. And depending on when the Iowa and USC games fall, hopefully by October, you already have, by the end of October, you already have your 6 wins, and you're looking for, to better yourself in bowl competition.
Mm-hmm. All right, switching over a little bit to hoops, Badger basketball. So they picked up a win against Providence, but then they fell to TCU. Badgers are out of the top 25 rankings in their early goings here. And I know some people were kind of freaking out about the TCU game. Now, TCU, if we did a top 30, they would have been in the top 30 in the country. So, they're not a bad team at all. But from what you watched in that TCU game, does it concern you at all a little bit? Just 26 points in the second half? Or are you just like, hey, that's a solid team. Let's pick up and get ready for Northwestern coming up tomorrow.
Yeah, I think TCU is a pretty good team. Did they get kind of out-muscled? Yeah. That was a little worrying because once you get into the Big Ten, we'll need Greg Gard to call people out again for being too soft.
Yeah.
It worked in the past, and we saw some guys' mentalities change after public calling out. But when you're going up against a team who was shooting almost 60% from 3 and almost 50 in field goal percentage, and you're almost pushing 35% from the field and 25 from 3, things aren't going to go well.
Yeah.
So I think the only stat we beat TCU in was getting to the free throw line. And, that kept it respectable, I guess. But it was a game that was the antithesis of what we saw from the Providence game. But, TCU, they played close to Michigan. So, they're a decent team. Their other loss, I was looking it up, against New Orleans. So that's a little odd. But since then, they've been playing pretty darn good. Upset the number 10 team in the country in Florida the night before. So, they were riding high and took that into game 2. And they can play different styles of games too. So I think that's a good team we lost to. And I think it's kind of lucky it wasn't worse than
right.
the 11 points.
Right. They got Northwestern. Then they got the Marquette game, which Marquette, they got a game tonight, but Marquette's only a 500 team so far to begin with this year too. So just, you being a Badger alum, I know this kind of gets brought up every year when we get to this game. Is this more of a rivalry from the Marquette side of things than it is from the Badger side of things? Or is there a little bit of, Badger alums, Badger fans have a little something against Marquette too?
I didn't grow up in a time where Marquette was good and won their one national championship.
Mm-hmm.
In talking to people like my parents' age and things like that, there was more of a hatred for Marquette back in the day,
Right.
where, it really was more of a rivalry. I honestly think about Marquette on Saturday. I even had somebody yesterday being like, well, are you pumped for the Marquette game? I go, oh, yeah, that's in a couple weeks. It's this Saturday. Oh, yeah, sure. even when they are good, like I honestly don't think about Marquette. And Marquette they have hate week this week. And that's cool. Like I've had Marquette fans come up to me and be like, oh, it's Wisconsin week. I'm like, okay, like cool, bud.
It's like you got bigger fish to fry.
Yeah. I could rub 1941 in your face just as well as you rub 1977 in my face. But somehow theirs counts and Wisconsin's doesn't because there was only 4 teams in the NCAA tournament at the time, and everybody knows in 1941 the NIT was the best tournament. I was like, sure, whatever we want to tell ourselves to discredit us, great. But it's for me at least, it's just another week because outside of basketball, we have more than one nationally known sport at Wisconsin.
Yeah. Well, hey, one of those sports is volleyball, which they're going to begin their national tournament run. So they get a 3 seed, but they get to host a couple rounds. And I was looking at it through the bracket. They potentially would have to go up against Stanford, and then if they get through it, you're talking about a rematch against Texas here too. So, not to overlook the first couple rounds here, but if Wisconsin is able to get back to the national championship, it looks like from this bracket, RJ, they will definitely have earned that right to play the national championship if they can get through it.
Yeah, and the way they're playing right now, it's at least given themselves a chance. They've looked good against pretty much everybody since getting swept by Nebraska. When was that? End of October.
Mm-hmm.
So they've dropped 2 sets since then, but it's what we've come to expect from Wisconsin, and yeah, it'll be a tough road. So it'll be a fun watch. I know that. It's not like they're getting led to slaughter, so that's a plus. They've really, in the last few years, it seems like, kind of like we talk about Wisconsin women's hockey. It's assumed they'll get here, and then everybody tunes in to see what happens.
Right. Exactly. So that starts a couple days from now too, and they host the first couple rounds, right? In Madison.
Yep.
Or at the field house.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of if it's the first rounds or yeah, I guess it's just the first two
first 2 games.
Is it like just this weekend? So however many sessions that is, I guess,
gotcha.
is what they're hosting. I think it's just this weekend.
Okay.
But yeah, it's good to have. You don't have to travel, so that's a plus.
Right. Exactly. So. And then to switch over, we've got men's hockey. Let's switch over to Badger men's hockey because they had kind of the off week here, but now you're getting set for a series going up against Notre Dame this weekend. How big of a series is this for Badger hockey coming off that huge sweep against Michigan State?
Yeah, you had a week off there. You were the top team in tied because Michigan has one more point than you because the win on Saturday against Michigan State was an overtime, so you didn't get the full point there. But your games-wise, tied for the top of the conference, going up against Notre Dame this weekend at Notre Dame, currently 0-6 in the conference, 4-9-1 overall. This is one, like, in years past, we've always said you got to work to try to get a split on the road. You do want to do that still, but, I mean, this is one, if you can, pour it on them and get out of there with a victory. And then I think after that, you're getting ready for the Holiday Classic in Milwaukee, maybe. I think so. It goes. Hold on, let me check this out. Yep. Then you go to the Holiday Face-Off, and that's not until the end of December. So you get a few more weeks off after this series. So put it all out there. Get your rest for 2 weeks, and then play Lake Superior State, and then the winner of Western Michigan, Boston College. Should say hopefully winner. But, yeah, so good month of December here. They're not home until middle of January, I want to say.
Okay.
Or something like that, because then, not until Alaska Anchorage comes to town, and I'm blanking on when that series is. But I think even after the face-off, they have like another week off before that series against Alaska Anchorage. So, looking forward to hockey to end the year out here, and hopefully you pick up 4 wins in the month of December and keep staying at number 2 in the country.
And on the flip side here, you've got the women's team that's going to be hitting the road. We know they're number 1 in the country, but they're going to be going up against number 2 Ohio State, who also got some first place votes. So I mean, that's another big time series coming up this weekend.
Yeah, when you're ending up going and giving up some goals and looking a little more vulnerable at times, you give people the opportunity to cast votes for Ohio State. But yeah, it'll be a big one here. I don't know who Stonehill is, but I mean, they beat them 17-2 over the weekend. I mean, it was really like, I have no clue who Stonehill is. Like, hopefully they're a new program, and that, because if that's the case, like, wow, that's pretty crazy. But like you said, on the road in Columbus this weekend, and hopefully that's one we can rightfully say, even as a top 2 matchup, steal one, get out of there with a split. No real damage done there if that happens. But yeah, it'll be a good one. It's the last 2 or 3 national championships have been between those 2 teams. So it should be a good series. I wonder if that's on TV. If it's not, somebody's doing a disservice.
Right. Yeah.
It is not. So,
wow.
Yep, there you go. Just the Big Ten, even though that's the WCHA, just the Big Ten, really not knowing how to promote any sports outside of football and basketball. So good on them for not showing anything. And really, depending on what kind of brand you want to call certain sports and schools and things like that, Big Ten, once again, dropping the ball, not letting people see good athletic competition.
I agree, man. I agree. Hey, before I let you go now, give me the Big Ten championship pick, Ohio State, Indiana. Who you rolling with this weekend?
Ooh, yeah. I mean, just based off of solely Wisconsin head-to-head matchups, I gotta say probably Ohio State.
Yeah.
And it could be one where we see what Indiana did last year versus Ohio State, and even though they were down, running the ball, taking time off the clock, to not have the loss look worse than it could have been by trying to score and giving the ball back to Ohio State, keeping them off the field will probably be their game plan. And they do have better offense this year, but still, I think it's going to be Ohio State. Maybe like a 2-score game, probably like 30, 38, 28, something like that. Only because I think Indiana has the capability to score on them, even though that Ohio State defense pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no kidding.
But yeah, it'll be Ohio State. Ohio State will be your number 1 team. Indiana will probably drop a little bit because they won't be the number 2 team in the nation anymore. I have a lot of fun reading the SEC boards of being like, has anybody seen a worse conference championship 1 and 2 matchup ever? Yeah, I have. Most of it's been the SEC championships over the years because your refs made it happen. But other than that, yeah, it's one where I think the Big Ten is stronger than a lot of people think. Because if you look at Ole Miss, that's a hell of a situation going on there right now. But not a lot of their wins are against big time name programs in there. Same with Texas A&M. They've beaten up on everybody. It's probably a worse schedule than anybody in the Big Ten has. I've seen people try to say that some of the SEC teams have the hardest schedule in the country when, I think we've seen it, and it's been proven. It was Wisconsin this year. But, whatever. It's one where the SEC is really hurting this year in terms of trying to justify why they need half of the college football playoff teams. But, that's what they do year in, year out anyway.
Right, exactly. All right, he's RJ Cardinal, our Badger analyst from Madison. Good stuff as always, buddy. Hey, appreciate the time. Enjoy the rest of the week, and we'll catch up with you next week. Okay, sir?
Sounds good. We will talk to you then.
You got it. There you go. There's RJ Cardinal. Again, good stuff as always from RJ joining us here this morning. All right, we got to take a quick break. We got a couple breaks we got to take before the top of the hour. So let's go ahead and do that. We'll be right back in just a couple minutes. Big thanks again to Mr. Cardinal for recapping a lot in the Badger world. If you missed any portion of that, we're going to put it up in podcast form later on this morning. Don't forget to follow, be a friend, tell a friend. Follow the Man Cave Podcast. Subscribe to the Man Cave Podcast wherever you get your podcasting platforms, whether it's like Apple, Spotify, or up on YouTube as well. Want to get that YouTube channel rocking and rolling, so just click that little bell up there and subscribe to the YouTube channel. But yeah, we'll put that up there. If you have a few seconds, like on Apple, if you could give it a 5-star rating and a positive review in the review comments, that helps the algorithms out there. So be a friend, tell a friend, help us out with that. But good stuff as always with RJ. All right, kind of just to reset it here, because I do got to take another break before the top of the hour, but coming up in the final hour, kind of reset everything here. That's on the table. Give me your third quarter Packers grades if you have not given your grades yet. You can do team overall. You can do team overall. You can do player overall. You can do coaches, whatever you want, okay? Grade whatever you want with this thing. Also, we were talking a little bit about Micah Parsons. One, has he met your expectations? Has he exceeded your expectations? If there's anybody who thinks he hasn't done any of that, I'd love to hear why. And we did a little what if the Packers don't make the trade for Micah Parsons. If they don't, are they making the postseason this year? What do you think? All right, hit me up with your text, 715-830-1912. Or you can hit us up on the YouTube stream. Bucks-wise, Bucks falling to the Wizards last night. Is it time? Maybe for some of you it's been overdue. I got to make a change at coach. Is it all on Doc Rivers? Is it the roster? What is going on with this 9-13 Bucks team? Yeah, they missed some time with Giannis gone, but still, yikes. What is going on with this team? What would you do if you were John Horst right now? Are you feeling the heat? You feeling the pressure? Because I'm feeling the heat and pressure if I'm John Horst, especially with the whole Giannis thing over and over you. You know what I mean? So, all right. We'll take our final break for the third quarter, but we'll hit up all that coming up in the final quarter. Also, your Toyson Ford Grind My Gears Tuesday. What's grinding your gears? And our Hy-Vee Gamechangers of the week. Last break for the third hour. We'll be right back in just a couple minutes. Just a couple minutes left to the top of the hour before we get back to some more green and gold chats and such. But it's a good reminder as well. Make sure you get your picks in for the upcoming week of football games at our Pro Football Weekly Pick'em Challenge on our website. You guys know the drill if you've already been doing it. Fan Cave tab, scroll all the way down to the bottom. Check those picks. Quick look at, also for the Survivor League, too. Can win some, and you're over there, win some Harlem Globetrotter tickets. They're coming up next month at the Sonintake Center as well. But for a quick look at the leaderboard for our Pro Football Weekly Pick'em Challenge, we got Scotty's 136, Brian 135, Tim's 135. So it's close up there for the Survivor League. Scotty's is up there too. James is tied with him. Matt and Brian, Dennis, Todd, all at 12 as well. So keep those going. Keep them rocking and rolling. Get those picks in. See how well you guys are doing. You guys are doing a really good job right now, actually. So, yeah. I forgot to do mine one week, and it just went down. Went down through the thing. Also, while you're at our website, again, just a quick remark, 'cause I know they're talking about maybe some snow again coming up here. It's a good reminder because school's back in session. If there are any cancellations or you're wondering if there's any delays, always stay tuned to our website, sportstalk1051.com, for the WEAU 13 News First Alert school closings that are brought to you by Hovland's and ServiceMaster. So, again, we're at that time of year. There's a little bit of snow. Maybe it causes just a little bit of delays. Maybe some cold temperatures. It's going to get cold later on this week, too. Always check our website while you're streaming this program, of course, for the latest school closings and delays. Again, brought to you by Hovland's and ServiceMaster. All right. Shot clock's right there. We'll take our quick break and then back for the fourth quarter. Final hour. We'll get back to some more football talk coming up after these news updates. It is the final hour that is kicking off right now. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. Hopefully you have been off to a fantastic start this morning. Whether you're already at work, logging in the hours, maybe you just rock and roll, maybe you have the day off, who knows? Or maybe you, I don't know, whatever the case may be, thanks for hanging out with us here this morning and participating, whether it's been by text or commenting on the YouTube stream, all that fun stuff. So first hour, we talked a little Packers grades. What the heck's going on with my mic stand here? Things getting screwed off here. Come on, figure it out. Here we go. We were talking about Packers third quarter grades. Did I say first quarter? I meant third quarter. Because we're using this is kind of that line, that breakup. It's not, the math isn't going to be even and such ever since they put 17 games in. So just considering it's kind of like a mini bye week for Green Bay. You know, we've been looking for your grades. How would you grade this ball club? How would you grade the team? How would you grade some of the coaches, some of the players? Wide majority overall team grade has been a B. Has gotten some A's, but it is a wide majority that it is B. So if you have not sent us your grades, send those on over right now. Or you can, if you want to include some player grades or some coaching grades in there too, you absolutely can do that. You can do that as well. So hit those up. Text it, 715-830-1912. And then you can also hit us up on the video stream with your grades. Packers, we did have a little bit of a media session yesterday. And Matt LaFleur chatted with the media. Did confirm that Devontae Wyatt's injury is going to be season-ending. So, again, non-committal about whether Jayden Reed's going to make his debut this weekend. I feel like he's going to, but that's just my gut. But maybe some more depth coming for the Packers. Packers opening up the practice window for 3 players yesterday. One was Marshawn Lloyd. The other was Brenton Cox Jr., who we haven't seen since week 1. And then Colin Oliver, the rookie, who we haven't seen since, well, ever. I mean, he's been banged up, pretty much banged up all preseason, training camp and such. So they're opening up his practice window. I'm a little skeptical whether we're going to see him at all this point this season. I don't know if it's more of like, hey, let's get some practice in with him, and then, when the 21 days are up, we're going to, put him back on injured reserve just to get him some work. I don't know. Could be wrong. Could be completely off on that thing. But nonetheless, he's that guy. Do you remember when we were going through the draft and after the picks came in, and he's a great pass rusher? It's just his size. He's got like a linebacker size, but a little bit small for a D end. But he's a really good pass rusher. So he was one of those guys when he was drafted, and the more you got to learn about him and kind of find out about him, it was like, okay, I'm curious to see how Jeff Hafley is going to utilize him within this defense. Is he going to line him up at a linebacker? Is he going to line him up as an edge? We're a little bit of mixture, hybrid type of player. So, again, I don't know if we're going to be able to see that this year, but you can't argue with, results, and that guy was a really, really, really good pass rusher in college. But I'm still skeptical whether we're going to see him at all this year. So, but all eyes are going to be on that defensive line, according to our friend Rob Domofsky. He also noted that Lucas Van Ness was in a walking boot yesterday, and when you hear Van Ness's comments, it doesn't paint a great picture about when he's going to be back. This was from Rob, quote, "It just wasn't exactly where I wanted it to be. Was hoping to get back on the field and return to play. Played a limited amount of snaps, and it didn't feel quite right yet. So just back on the rehab plan and hoping I could turn the corner shortly. But until then, just rehab, work with the training staff and coaches, and hope that I can get healthy soon." I wouldn't expect Lucas Van Ness to be back this weekend either. Again, I hope I'm wrong. And I hope we see him sooner rather than later, especially with Devontae Wyatt out. I just feel like that's not going to be the case at this point. So, who is that? We talked about it yesterday. It's the Will Brinsons. I keep saying Will Brinson because he's a former CBS NFL writer. Warren Brinson. Is Stackhouse going to get more opportunities again? Is Carl Brooks going to be back? It's those guys. Next man up. They ain't bringing in a veteran, it sounds like. So it's going to be next guy up. Carl Brooks has been there for a couple of years. If he's able to go, he missed last week's game, but you get a little bit of experience with him. Brinson's been playing a lot more snaps as of late. Has showcased some nice stuff. Is he going to be ready for an increased role? He better be, because he's going to get that shot. Stackhouse was the guy at the beginning of the year that was kind of like, okay, he's going to be the TJ Slayton, but we haven't seen that. But remember, though, too, Colby Wooden has kind of been the TJ Slayton guy. Colby Wooden has been the better run defender from the interior defensive line. He's been better than Devontae Wyatt at stopping the run. Devontae Wyatt has just been really, really good at rushing the passer, providing that interior pass rush. So where is that going to come from? Is that Brinson, who coming out of college out of Georgia was noted he's a pretty good interior pass rusher. Carl Brooks has been decent this year in his limited roles. But can they match the production level of Devontae Wyatt? That's what's going to be really, really tough. And that's where it's going to be on Jeff Hafley's shoulders, too. It's like, okay, where do I bring that interior pressure from? Maybe it's more from Parsons coming up middle. Maybe it's more Quay Walker. Maybe it's more Edgerrin Cooper, as we mentioned a little bit earlier. Isaiah McDuffie is a sneaky good pass rusher. I don't know if it's just because he's a little bit smaller, so he kind of like hits those holes and such. But it's going to have to come from different parts. But you look at this Chicago game. They're going to have to be ready to stop that run. That's where they got to load up. I wouldn't be surprised if we're going to see a lot more base defense from this Packers defense gearing up for Chicago. I'd love it if Quay Walker is going to be able to be back and play in this game. But I wouldn't be surprised if we see more base to try to stop that run. It's going to be tough. Packers run defense, yeah, you look at the numbers, you look at the rankings here, and they're a top 10 unit. They've been tested, though, at times as of late. And that number, they've creeped down a little bit in the standings here. Or I should say in the rankings of run defense. They've creeped down a little bit. You know, overall, Packers are a top 5 team in yards allowed. They're 4th best in the entire league. And for rushing yards, they're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They're 8th now. 98.3. They're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th best in passing. So, but again, they've kind of been tested. They did a really good job against Jahmyr Gibbs again. I mean, it's almost like when Green Bay knows, more times than not, when they know, hey, we got to stop the run, that's the focus, they do a decent job at it. You know, Gibbs had 68 yards Thanksgiving. Minnesota, I mean, Mason had 42. The Giants, Tracy had 88. I'm just kind of going through here. Eagles, Saquon, I don't think had 100. Yeah, Saquon had 60. Panthers, I think that Rico was the one that, Rico had 130, and they were just consistent with him. 25 carries for $130. That's the one that just kind of like, ooh boy, opened it up a little bit. Other than that, I mean, Warren had 62. Cardinals, I think it wasn't Knight had 57. Yeah. So they're going to be tested. There's no question they're going to be tested again. Are they ready to do that? That's where I would hope Quay Walker's back, and I would hope that Colby Wood, early player who's got to have a game for this weekend, when we get to it on Friday. Early nomination, Colby Wooden. Colby Wooden, I think, is going to be such a key player in this ball game and helping stop the run. That's the guy. That's the guy. So he had a run defensive grade in week 7. He was up to an 87. I think that was his highest this year, was that run defensive grade at an 87. And overall, he's been, what game was that? Cardinals. Yeah, that's what it was. It was the Cardinals. Colby Wooden had an 86 overall in that grade, but really got it high for his run defense. Kind of been up and down a little bit, but mostly he's easily been their best run defender from that defensive line standpoint. So easy pick for a nomination for a player who's got to have a game when we get to that on later on this week. So, how's your vibe feeling right now as we get closer to Bears week? I think, if you're a Bears fan, if you're the Bears, you're excited about the opportunity to prove that, hey, we are a really good team. We are a playoff team. We are the division leading, the NFC leading, legit good team. Packers, I think you're excited about the opportunity to potentially retake the division. I think there's some good nerves, and some excitement on both sides on both sides of the fan base. As a Packers fan, I would love nothing more than to dominate the Bears at Lambeau. Surveyor says Packers better win this week. I just made a bet with my son's teacher, who's a Bears fan. If the Packers win, she has to wear a Packers shirt to school for the day. But if the Bears win, my son has to wear a Bears shirt to school. This became personal, and I want Micah to curb stomp Caleb and his stupid painted nails into oblivion. Go Pack, go. Oh, that's awesome. All right, let's take a quick break. We'll have more Packers talk. Continue to send me your grades for this team, your grind my gears, your game changers, all that fun stuff. We'll be right back after these few words. It's the 23rd annual Festival of Toys Drive with Midwest Family Eau Claire. You just drop off some new unwrapped toys for kids at 6 months to 18 years old at Festival Food Stores in Chippewa Falls and Eau Claire now through December 5th. Just look for the big wrapped donation bins in the front of the stores. And while you're there, you can also help support the Salvation Army bell ringers. So you can just go to Best Holiday Ever at aroundthe715.com to make an online donation directly to Family Promise of the Chippewa Valley. Our friend Murph is going to be hitting the road to the locations each day, going to the rest of the week here with a big wrap-up event at the Festival Foods Mall Drive location on Friday from 7 a.m. to 1 p.m. Thank you to our partners, Family Promise of the Chippewa Valley, Festival Foods, EC Moving and Storage, Window World, and Green Oasis Gardens. Micah Parsons, has he exceeded expectations? Has he met your expectations so far? Kind of a what-if question I've been throwing out there, too. What if Green Bay didn't acquire Micah Parsons? Are we in this situation that we're in right now with Green Bay sitting there at 8-3-1 with a matchup against Chicago to have the top spot in the NFC North for the moment, sweeping the Lions this year? Green Bay's already won more division games this year than they did total last year. They're 3-0. If they don't trade for Micah Parsons, is this a playoff team? I say no. If anything, maybe around 500. I know it's a quarterback-driven league, but I no. It got me thinking. I think it was a text from John a little bit earlier when he just kind of casually said, where would this team be, or where would this defense be without Micah Parsons? And I would ask, where would this team be without Micah Parsons? Not just the defense, but where would this team be without Micah Parsons? To me, he is the MVP of this team. I know it's a quarterback-driven league, but he is the MVP. You need a good quarterback. Look at Minnesota. Look at some of these teams struggling with quarterback play. A lot of it starts with some really, really good quarterback play. Packers have that, but what Micah Parsons has done closing out some of these games, being the closer, fourth quarter, that's where you want your defensive guys to really step up and shut things down. He has done that. If Green Bay doesn't make this trade for Micah Parsons, I don't think right now we're heading into this week with 5 games left to go as a playoff team. We're probably around 500. He has made that much of a difference for this ball club. That's what I feel like. I mean, that move has it been worth 2 first-round picks so far? Heck yes, it has. There's no question about it. Big contract, but he is doing exactly what you want a big-time player, a highly expensive player, to be doing. I mean, he's setting benchmarks. He's just, it's been fantastic. And to me, it's exceeded my expectations a little bit. I thought it would be great this year. I thought it would be good. I thought it would be, at least double-digit sacks. And he's gotten that. But what kind of makes it a little bit more of exceeding my expectations for me has been, this guy they've thrown everything at him to try to slow him down. Double teams. Sometimes triple teams. They've done so much. And he is still eating. He's still getting his. He's getting through all that. And he's still wreaking havoc. That to me is what kind of just sets it over the top a little bit for me, where it exceeds the expectations. When was the last time we kind of had this performance from a defensive player? Woodson, Matthews? Where it was like he's just this unstoppable force. So I get why, you got some people kind of throwing out there. It's like, man, flashbacks to White. He's not going to, I don't want to say he is Reggie White. I'm not saying he's going to be Reggie White. But, when you hit benchmarks that you and Reggie White are the only two to do this, what was it, since 1982 when sacks officially became a stat, which is just mind-boggling to me. Him and White, first 5 years of their careers with 10 or more sacks, him and White. It's pretty dang good, considering when you are the focus of a lot of teams, too. I just hope it turns out that the same thing it does for when Green Bay acquired White, which meant a championship. I wouldn't mind a couple of them. But, yeah, 2 first-round picks and Kenny Clark for Micah. I think it's worked out for Green Bay. I really do. And I think when you look at it, everybody says, well, Green Bay's first-round picks, they always draft in the back end of the first round, and, they're never really contributors right away. And I think there's something to it because I honestly feel like that's the mindset Green Bay has with their late first-round picks is, all right, let's draft based off of the ceiling. Like, he may not be ready to contribute right away, but when they're ready, their ceiling is incredibly high. And it's a little bit more of a risk-reward type of approach, whereas day 2, that's where they find those, okay, guys that can play right away, guys that we can plug in right away. And you just look at it. I mean, you look at it from Goody's history from the draft. It's right there. Let's go to, and some of them haven't been great. I'm not saying that all of them have been great, but I mean, okay, so his first draft was Jair. Okay, that was a first-round pick that got in right away, made some impacts. Other than that, I mean, yeah, that was the let's draft 3 wide receivers year. But Oren Burks was a solid player, special teams. I mean, he's been better in his career with the 49ers and such. But even like 2019 is probably the better example of this. Rashawn Gary was the first pick. Darnell Savage was also a first-round pick. But who'd you get day 2? Elton Jenkins. And then you look at 2020. Jordan Love. That ended up waiting a few years. After that, A.J. Dillon was a nice rotational running back. John Runyon Jr. played a lot of games for Green Bay. Started a lot of games. 2021, Eric Stokes. Day 2s, Josh Myers. Isaiah McDuffie. 2022, or that was 2021, 2022. You had your Quay and you had your Devontae Wyatts. This 2022 draft for Goody is looking pretty dang good right now. Quay and Devontae were your first rounders. Then you got Sean Ryan in the 3rd round, starter. Romeo Doubs, starter. Zach Tom, starter. Enoch Barre, main part of the rotation. Rasheed Walker, starter. That's turning out to be a pretty solid class. 2023, you had Lucas Van Ness, which is probably the perfect example in this. And then after that, Jane Reed, Tucker Kraft, Colby Wooden, Dontavian Wicks, Carl Brooks, Carrington Valentine, Luke Musgrave. 2024, Jordan Morgan. After that, Edrin Cooper, Javon Bullard, Marshawn Lloyd, Hopper, Evan Williams. A little early yet on this one for this year's. So, yeah, I'm a draft nerd. I love the draft. Green Bay won't have a first-round pick for the next couple of years. I'm okay with that because it's Micah Parsons and it's a generational talent at this point in time. Day 2 is my favorite part of the draft anyways. So, Surveyor, easily the best move since Charles Woodson. And if he puts up the same or even better numbers next year, I would argue he is the greatest. Well, it's not free agency. He'd be the greatest trade. And so you got that, right? It'd be trade. So, okay. The greatest, if we say trade in Packers history, you're talking about Favre and then Micah Parsons, their Surveyor. That's heavy company, man. Surveyor also says, Micah has exceeded all my expectations. He could have taken his money and became complacent, but no. He has risen his game, and with the play of every player on defense, look at everyone's Pro Football Focus grade from this year and last year. Everyone is playing either at or above the grade they were at a year ago. I think the other thing, too, with Micah, and obviously I'm not in the locker room and all that, but you hear him talking about his teammates and really trying to build them up. Next year, it would surprise me, it would shock me if Micah's not wearing the C patch. But you hear Micah talk about his teammates like he does about Lucas Van Ness, like he does about Devontae Wyatt. Talks them up. Coaches them up. Think about it. You're a guy like Lucas Van Ness. Yeah, you're a first-round pick, but you haven't had a ton of opportunities, and you haven't really padded up the stat sheets. Or you're same with Devontae Wyatt. There's pressure that comes with being a first-round pick. And maybe you haven't been hitting the marks. Then you got an all-pro like Micah Parsons coming in, and you got him in your corner. And he's talking about you, and he's raising you up. Like, that means a lot to those guys. To have somebody like that in your corner talking you up that way, that means a lot. You know, he's a guy that's coming in that's going to draw a lot of attention, especially like, you know, for Lucas Van Ness. Guy comes in, takes snaps away from you. What does he do? He takes you under his wing, and he just talks glowingly about you as a player. That's huge for those young players' lives or careers. Micah's not even that old either, but still. That's what's also kind of been really impressive here. All right, let's take a quick break. Continue to send me your thoughts, though. All right, we got some farm news and all that good stuff, but we'll talk some more Packers, talk some Bucks coming up here in just a little bit. All right, more grades coming in for the green and gold. We've got a lot of B's. Bees all over the place. So that looks to be the final grade for this third quarter for the Pack. Can they get it to an A in these final 5 games? It remains to be seen. So big thanks, everybody, for sending in your grades. We'll, kind of where the post-glass and mirror poll question went up last night. It was like, last I checked was 77% B. We did have, I was actually surprised. We had about 22% for A's, nothing below that. So nice work, everybody. All right. Bucks. Oh. I mean, what are we doing? Right? I mean, what's going on here? What was that last night? Yikes. That's losing to the Wizards? Come on. How does that happen? How does that happen? That was frustrating last night. That was incredibly frustrating. I don't know what else to say about it other than poo-poo. Poo-poo, poo-poo. Words I can't say probably on the air. And yeah, it's kind of putting a damper on the Bucks season for me at this point in time. Because you know what's going to happen too, and you try to ignore it. You try to blank it out. It's hard at times. But the more they keep losing, the more the talks are going to happen about Giannis potentially forcing his way out, how the Bucks should trade Giannis, start over, etc., etc., etc. It's going to happen. And I wouldn't be surprised if it happens as soon as today, especially after a loss to the Wizards. But 9-13. 9-13. I know Giannis missed some games. I understand that. I get that. But it wasn't like he was out for a month. Okay? He had Kevin Porter Jr. dropping 30 points last night, too. And still, where's the defense? Where's the defense with this ball club? It's frustrating, especially, and here's the thing, too, like where I get it. We're just starting the second quarter of the season for the Bucks, and we got time, and they can turn it around. But here's where my mind's going. Okay, when football season's over with, where is this Bucks team going to be? Is this something that we can jump on and be like, okay, Packers hoisting the Lombardi championship. All right, where's our next team that we can get pumped about and excited about? Is it going to be the Bucks come February? Is it going to be them? Or are we going to be able to be talking, like, as soon as we're done talking Packers, we're going to be like, right to Bucks basketball because that's a championship caliber team? Because if we're not, boy, it's going to be kind of a little bit of a longer winter until we get to spring training. Hopefully Badger basketball's doing stuff. Marquette, hopefully they can bounce back. Hockey continues its way with Badgers. But if Bucks basketball is not relevant after Packer season, we're in trouble. Like, where's this next? It's like in line. Like, because remember when we were all gung-ho about Brewers are playing well. It's like, hey, we're still on the Brewers bandwagon. At this time, we're focused on Packers, but the Brewers keep winning. Our interest is still in it. We're still going there as Wisconsin sports fans. Like, yes. But once Packers season's done with, if this Bucks team can't figure it out and turn it around, the enthusiasm surrounding that team is just going to continue to crumble. Maybe not so much down in Milwaukee and that, but I mean, come on, we know this area. We know the Chippewa Valley. We know, the further away it gets, basketball's like fourth. And Bucks, I should say, is about fourth. Because I would argue it's Packers, it's Brewers, it's Badgers, it's Bucks. In terms of the majority, not everybody, but the majority. Priority in their fanism, if you will. Packers, Brewers, I think it's Packers, Brewers, gap, Wisconsin, gap, Bucks. Not too big of a gap, though, between Wisconsin and that, because Wisconsin encompasses a lot. But football, I think, kind of really just took it down a little bit. So you want to get that fan base still engaged. You want to make this still, people in tune and all that. You got to figure it out and start winning some of these ball games. Start playing some gosh darn defense. Take some pride in your defense. This isn't a flipping all-star game where you can just go up and down the court and try the first to 200 points is going to win or whatever the heck it is now these days. Have some pride. I don't know, whatever happened to these teams that had pride in playing defense? Maybe it's just because I'm still old school, but it's I don't want anybody scoring points off of me. I got embarrassed if somebody scored a bucket off me. I was mad if somebody scored a bucket off me. Yeah, odds are somebody is going to score on you. It's going to happen. We know this, but the mentality was, I don't want anybody scoring on me. I don't want them to score anything. Have some pride playing some flipping defense. Right now, it just feels like this is a team that doesn't. Got to get it. Got to install it. Something ain't working. And if I'm John Horst, I'm feeling the heat, feeling the pressure, all right, and remember, this is a team over the last few years when something just felt off or something wasn't going right. They have made moves. They have made decisions. Adrian Griffin, trading Chris Middleton last year. They have done this. Eric Bledsoe, trading him. Then you get Drew Holiday. This has been an ultra-aggressive team. What can they do? Sure, we can read all the fan blogs and all these websites that say, man, I would, maybe they should try to trade for DeMar Rosen or Ball, and then people run with it saying, hey, did you hear the rumor that the Bucks are getting DeMar? No. Is it letting go of Doc Rivers? Honestly, I feel like they're tied to him, and they think he's the greatest thing right now, unless they tell us otherwise. At this point, I wouldn't be opposed to give Darvin Ham a shot. I mean, he did coach the Lakers for a couple of years and had to deal with that mess and actually got him, postseason and such. But I thought he did a decent job there. Bucks players love him. Giannis loves him. I wouldn't be opposed to that at this point. John says, fun fact, since 1992, the Bears are 17-50 against the Packers. 17 is too high of a number. Too high of a number, man. We got to make it 17-51. All right, let's take our final break here. We'll make some picks and predicts. Last call for any more Grind My Gears or any more Hy-Vee Gamechangers. We'll be right back in just a few minutes. All right, time to wrap up all this with some picks, shall we? Let's start off. Let's go to the. Actually, I want to go to college basketball. Let's go to college basketball first. All right. Games for Tuesday for tonight. Let's start off. Got Iowa, Michigan State. Yeah, I'm going to go Michigan State. Let's do Tennessee, Syracuse, Tennessee. We've got. Okay, Purdue, Rutgers. Come on, Purdue. Florida, number 15, Florida, taking on number 4, Duke. Cameron Crazy is going to be out in full force. I am going to go with Duke in that game. Valpo versus Marquette. It's in Milwaukee. Marquette. UConn, Kansas. Number 5, UConn. Number 21, Kansas. That's a good one too. I'm going to go with the Huskies. UConn. Number 16, Carolina. Number 18, Kentucky. I'm going to go Kentucky in this one. So we got a few good matchups tonight for college basketball. I like it. Let's move over to the NHL world. Trying to do the ESPN hockey theme song. Ottawa at Montreal. I'll go with the Canadiens. Boston, Detroit. Give me Detroit. Tampa Bay and the Islanders. I'll go Tampa. Dallas, Rangers. I'll go with the Stars. Toronto, Florida. I'll go Florida. Calgary versus Nashville. I'll go with the Preds. Vancouver versus the Avalanche. I'll go Colorado. Minnesota at Edmonton. I'm going with Edmonton. Chicago at Vegas. I'll go with Vegas. Capitals taking on the Kings. I will go with the Capitals. NBA, just a handful of games tonight. We've got Washington at Philadelphia. Washington riding high off that Milwaukee win. Yeah, Philadelphia's going to win. Portland at Toronto. Give me Toronto. The Knickerbockers taking on the Boston Celtics. I am going to go with the Knicks. Memphis at San Antonio. Give me the Spurs. Thunder, Warriors. Give me the Thunder. And then the T-Wolves taking on the Pelicans of New Orleans. Wow, way to screw that one up. Pelicans of New Orleans. Going Minnesota. I'll go with the Timberwolves tonight. So, quick look at where things are in the NBA standings. Detroit, number 1, 17-4 in the East. New York, Miami, Toronto, Orlando, Cleveland are your top 6. 7 through 10, Atlanta, Boston, Philly, Chicago. Bucks are 1 game out from that 10 spot. The West, the Thunder just continue to cruise. 20-1. 20-1. That's I don't know. Has anybody talked about best record yet? If they're going to do it, I don't know if that's been talked about yet. But 20-1 off to that start. Woo. Lakers second, 15-5. Rockets, Denver, San Antonio, Minnesota to round up your top 6. Then you got Phoenix, Golden State, Memphis, Portland. Utah is just 1 game back from that. So, all right. Let's get. I know we had a couple more texts to wrap up. Oh, more grades. Yeah, more B's for the pack. All right. Yeah. Yep. Totally. That's kind of where the final grade is for that third quarter. Oh, it is Aaron. I forgot. Aaron Charles Rodgers' birthday today. 42 years young. Maybe only 5 more weeks left of the Aaron Rodgers era. But also this day, 74 years ago, I just got to throw this out there. 74 years ago, the Packers retired their first number. Mr. Don Hudson. Don Hudson, this day, 74 years ago, got his number 14 retired, the first number retired in Packers franchise history. Since then, it's been Tony Canadeo, Bart Starr, Ray Nitschke, Reggie White, Brett Favre, will be Aaron Rodgers. That 12 will be up there. And then it's who's next? Who will be the next to have their number retired? Think about it. It went through a long stretch there of numbers not being retired until, White in that. But obviously, I think the two obvious ones right now are, and I'm not saying they are. So before anybody freaks out on me and says that I think this, no. I'm just saying if we had to pick who's the most likely outside of Aaron Rodgers to get their number retired, I think the two most likely candidates are Jordan Love. Again, not saying it's going to happen. He's got a long ways to go first. And Micah Parsons. That's where I'm at. And I even think that's going to be that's tough too. I mean, think about it, like Charles Woodson won a Defensive Player of the Year award with Green Bay in 2009 and was a big time factor. His 21 never got retired. So, and I'm cool with Green Bay being very, very how do I want to say this? Difficult isn't the right word. High bar to get that number retired. I honestly feel like, and this is not a knock on him, but I think it would probably be debatable whether like Tony Canadeo's number would be retired. Now, he had a huge impact with Green Bay, even post-playing career. If you know your history, board of directors was instrumental, one of the big key players in getting Vince Lombardi to Green Bay. But from a player standpoint, that one of the retired numbers is probably, I don't know. But either way, we know 12 is going to be up there. Kind of goes, Devontae's 17 ain't going to be up there. And they're already wearing 17 for crying out loud. So, no, that ain't going to be a one either. But all right, coming up tomorrow, we're already halfway through the week. So we'll do a little Chalk Talk Wednesday. That's coming your way. Get the marker boards out again. Also on that Wednesday, what's your homework assignment for tomorrow? Am I wrong? Think about your bold sports takes, your bold sports opinions. Surveyor, maybe it's that trade one you said about Micah Parsons going down as the best one in franchise history. Huh? You ready to you willing to make that an am I wrong? But think about that. That's your homework assignment for tomorrow, guys and gals. Your am I wrong sports statements that you would have a friendly banter, conversation, man cave, barstool chat about. And send those on over. And we'll throw it out to the rest of the armchair MVPs. Get their thoughts and get their reactions. Have a little fun with this for our little Wednesday. Plus, it's a wild card Wednesday, too. So you got a topic in mind that maybe you read somewhere, you heard something from somewhere, and you want to throw it out to the rest of our experts, to the rest of our listeners. I'm all about it, all right? I'm all about it. Send it on over. We'll hit it up. If it's a good one, we'll hit it up. More times than not, yeah, we'll hit it up. So shoot it on over. Always up for some good interactive topics. Same place, same time tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. Thanks again for hanging out and participating and all that good stuff. Let's do it again tomorrow morning. See you then.